the necessary ingredients. But we do Schedule 2.
Check it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it.
Orientation in this place we call Earth. Love from conception, from your mom, your birth. Pops planted the seed in the turf. From there, you must find out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation to what your life. The brand new thing, so gentle the soul we're capturing. In this distance, the alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, you learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it. Let it what? If you let it, let it. Let it. If you let it, what? Don't let it. If you let it, don't let it. Let it. Don't let it.
We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We embark on this journey to your soul. We wanna have a good time. We embark on this journey to your soul. We wanna have a good time. We do something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I, on a mission to salvation. Our spirit be our transportation. We think you'll do a little love and that is true. For real, we bring something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I. Bring it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Back in effect. What's up, y'all? I am back from vacation, and I am so happy to have had a vacation. Oh my goodness. I had a wonderful time in Spain. Big up to Spain, man. Spain was wonderful. I was blown away, and all I could back into this serious topic, unfortunately, back into the serious topic. Now, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm V Media, born and raised in Washington, D.C., but as a grown-ass man, I live in Europe, and you know what I'm saying? I live in Denmark, the country that Trump attacked. And don't get played by that. Trump is only fooling the American people that support him. They know exactly how you think and know how to play you. They know how to play you. I mean, they know how to play poor ass middle class and broke ass, disenfranchised Americans. That's what they're doing. So all the Danes did was say, come on. And Trump did exactly what he always does when people say, come on. He backed the fuck down. Now, the only people that still believe in Trump are the people that just like, damn, he keeps backing down. I love it. I love how Trump backs down. But yet there are people that do. And, these people want to keep seeing the rich get richer. And they want to keep seeing their ass get broker and broker and broker. And they want to see their mama get broker. They want to see their daddy get broker. They want to see their kids fucking die, wait in the line in the hospital. They fucking don't care. They worship these fucking billionaires. And the only people in the Western world that worship billionaires are fucking slaves. And they are in the United States of America. That's who they are. Nobody else is going for it. Every other citizen of every other Western nation is like, this is my motherfucking country. And I'm going to vote your ass out. Every other citizen knows what their life is worth. You ever heard that Bob Marley song? Know what your life is worth. What is it called? What's that song called? You know what I'm saying? You better know what your life is worth. If you don't know what your life is worth, you ain't going to get shit from life. And every other Western citizen is watching back, proud of themselves, saying, I vote for health care for all in my country. I vote for education for all in my country. I vote for elder care for all elderly people in my country. And if you try to take it away, come on. Only in the United States of America are they like, okay, massa, you take more taxes from me and take my health care. I don't need nothing from you, massa. You good to me. You been good, Massa Trump. And that is exactly what broke asses from all over the country are saying. They're a different breed. They're a different fucking breed. And the Supreme Court knows it. That's why the Supreme Court is like, man, we could do whatever we fucking want. We don't need to follow the law. Give me that little paycheck under the table. Oh, man, and I'll do your bidding. I will do your bidding. And fuck the American people. Fuck the voters. They will pay my taxes. They will pay my salary for the rest of infinity. And I don't have to give a fuck about them. The Supreme Court have no ethics, no morals in the United States. They're not a Supreme Court. They're not a Supreme Court. Yeah. And if you don't impeach these judges that broke the law, their own fucking law, you yourself don't stand for shit as a voter. If you don't at the very least do that, I mean, it's just pathetic. And all I can say is thank God for Denmark. As an American citizen, I am safe in Denmark. Thank God. My kids are safe in Denmark. Thank God. And I just really have to shake my head and wonder, what is it about slavery in the United States that broke ass white people want to find out about? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys really want to know what slavery is. And you really going to fucking find out if you really don't wake the fuck up this election time. Yes, vote for something for yourself. After all, you're paying the bills. You are paying the bills. You are paying the bills yourself. Who goes to the store and pays for everybody else and nothing for themselves? I mean, who the fuck does that? But in the United States, that's what they do. They trick you out of it. They say, why should I get universal health care for me and my family? I don't want to pay for my sister's health care. Massa, I don't want to pay for my neighbor's health care, Massa. He looks just like me and I don't want to pay for his health care. Why should I, Massa? That's what these broke ass fucking white people are saying in America. That's what they're saying. And the rich ass white people are saying, ha 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 ha. They're laughing all the way to the fucking bank. They are laughing all the way to the fucking bank. And they should. Because you deserve to be fucking laughed at. If you can't wake up and just do the basic research yourself and say, why does every other Western country, all the countries that I claim to, even in the UK, even King Charles had to come over and put the slap down on the Supreme Court, the slap down on Trump, the slap down on Congress, all of them, they kiss Europe's ass. In their brain, they kiss Europe's ass every fucking day. And then when it comes time for rights, they don't want nothing to do with Europe. Ain't that some backward shit? That's like going to church saying you believe in Jesus, but you don't want to have nothing to do with the ways of Jesus. You rather roll with Satan. That's what that really is. They claiming to be Western, and they're nothing like Westerners. The United States of America is nothing like any other West. It's not even fucking close. It's more like Zambia. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not dissing Africa, but listen, you all are really broke. You're living a life like that. You're scared. You're waiting for somebody to come and hit your ass upside the head with a stick and put you in your place like in Cameroon. Bop! There you go. Shut up. Shut up, voter. Bop. Give me your money. I'm the rich guy. I'm the billionaire. We own the country. This is not a real democracy. Your votes really don't matter. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. I mean, the United States of Cameroon is what the fuck is happening. Boop. Knock you over the head. You better not come out to vote. United States of Cameroon. Boop, 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 boop. And the only difference is they're broke ass white people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, the majority of them. Sure, there's some black folks in there. The minority. It's like a tiny little minority in that place. You know what I'm saying? But the rest of the people are getting fleeced. They are getting fleeced. Like the human race has never seen before. You know what I'm saying? And they still out there like, maybe Trump really does love me. Maybe he will come through for my. No, man, you've been got. You have been got. Everything that they have promised you was a goddamn lie. They don't like you. They despise you. Because that's what classism is. And this is the sickest form of classism. Like, it is sick. They literally hate you. They hate you. Don't you? They hate broke ass white people. The ones with a missing tooth in the front, oh, they really hate you. The ones that are addicted to drugs, man, you ain't shit to them. If you ain't leaving your house, driving off in a truck with all your insurance paid every day and the most expensive gas prices and have no problem with it at all, and all your house paid for, they hate you. You are in the line of fire. They are coming for you. And I don't even know why, there would be anyone out there that doesn't understand that. It's like the people that have the most to fear are the majority, because you can only squeeze so much orange juice out of one orange. Imagine, and African Americans are just one little orange. We're a minority. How much juice you think you're going to squeeze out of us? No, that's not what's going on here. See, they need more juice, more, and they're going to get it. They're going to get it, and if you ever had anything that's just a little bit not right, you're going to lose it. Anything a little bit not right about you, you are going to lose it. You're on the fucking menu, and I really, really, really hope that Americans catch up to this shit. Like, please, clean house. Stop falling for the division. Stop thinking that these people care. They don't care. And that's why I put up this universal health care picture of Hungary. J.D. Vance and these motherfuckers, they believe Trump. They believe in Viktor Orban. And even Viktor Orban believes in universal health care. Get it through your head, white America. Get it through your head. Get it through your head, white America. You are the only, even the right-wing white Americans, you are the only people in the West, even the right-wingers in Europe have universal health care. Even the right-wingers have universal education. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you, right-wing Americans? What's wrong with you? You don't even require shit for your service. You don't require shit for your taxes. Man, that is insane. That's fucking insane. That is insanity. There's no other way you can describe it. That is insanity or slavery or both. And just because it has the name democracy in front of it, look at the Supreme Court. They have the name Supreme in front of them. Do they follow their own law? No. So what does that tell you about the democracy? You see? So my advice is stop worrying about what somebody's color is. Stop buying into this idea that you're purer than someone else when, none of you motherfuckers are pure. You white Americans in America, you are not fucking pure. You never fucking been pure. There is nothing called pure. You've been sold a hoax. Like, what the fuck? Get a DNA test. You are not pure. Nothing. Okay? You're not. You just thrown in the pot with a whole bunch of other people, and there you are. You just happen to come out looking some way, but it's nothing like what you really are when you just look under the fucking cover. You know what I'm saying? When you just get a little bit under that skin. No, there's a whole lot of other crazy shit going on there too. And for you to be true to who you really are as a human being, you best get to know that part also. Okay, you best get to know it, because they're gonna be coming for you. Let me tell you. So in any case, I had a great vacation. As always, listen, fuck Elon Musk, fuck Peter Thiel. No one wants them. No one in the West wants them. Everyone else is watching what is going on in the USA, and they're saying, see who played a part in this? See how they're doing this, this, and this? This is exactly what we will not allow here. We will stop them. They will only have success in the United States of America. They will not come to our country and tell us what to do. That is exactly what they said. Now, did the United States, put a 1 in the chat if the United States invaded Greenland after talking all that shit. Put a 2 in the chat if they fucking didn't. I'm going to put a 1 because they didn't. They talked a whole lot of shit. The United States did not fucking invade Greenland. Okay, they didn't invade Green. Oh, put a 1 in the chat. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me take that back. I said that wrong. Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if the United States did not invade Greenland, and put a 2 in the chat if they did. Okay, now they didn't, and that's exactly how it's going to play out. The United States is not going to do a motherfucking thing to no fucking body else that has any type of power on earth, even the smallest amount. The only thing that the United States government is going to do to anyone is to American citizens, because nobody else is going to have it. Nobody else. Nobody else wants Peter Thiel owning their country. Nobody else trusts Elon Musk. So it ain't going to happen. So the only people that's going to get that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel whip over their back is the United States of American citizens. That's it. And there's, they're running out. They're running out of a whole lot of people now. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. They're running out of a whole lot of people. They're still looking around trying to figure out who's next. Who's next? Yeah, we know who's next. There's plenty of certain kind of people to go around. And there's plenty of certain kind of people that are, I know what I want. I don't want no rights. There's plenty of people like that willing to give away their rights. Just take it, Mr. Trump. I don't want no rights. Yeah, it's you. It's you. I know what I want, and I don't want to vote. It's you people that's going to lose your fucking rights. And there's a whole lot of you. How many of you didn't vote in the last election? 80 million. Yes, that's a lot of motherfucking blood for the machines. That's a lot of energy to pump in that motherfucking goddamn AI. Yeah, the AI is going to have to function on human blood, and 80 million of you didn't vote. That's exactly who they like. They love you. You're nobody. You ain't shit. Okay, and that's exactly what they love. That's exactly what Elon Musk loves. That's exactly what Peter Thiel loves. A bunch of slave ass Americans. A bunch of slave asses. A bunch of slave fucking asses that will sit back and allow one Supreme Court justice to break the law and take handouts under the table. If you accept one, you accept them all. That's right. All you Supreme Court justices, just go out there and take all the money from the billionaires. It's lost because the civilians, the citizens don't even care if you do. The Congress doesn't even care if you do. The Senate doesn't even care if you do, because they won't impeach you when you take bribes in the United States of America. And the citizens won't stand up for their motherfucking rights when the Supreme Court takes bribes. They won't, they didn't, and they will allow it again and again and again and again, because Americans do not use guns to defend their fucking country. They were talking a whole lot of bullshit. All that bullshit. It was all that bullshit. Nah, they talked all that bullshit. Remember Timothy McVeigh? You ain't going to take our guns. You ain't going to take our guns. Remember Timothy McVeigh? Where's Timothy McVeigh's ass at now? Where's he at? Where are the Timothy McVeighs out there? Where are they at? Because Wrong. They are going to take your guns, and you ain't going to do shit about it. Just like you ain't do shit about anything else. You don't give a fuck about one right. You don't give a fuck about the rest of the rights. That's how simple it works. You see what I'm saying? And they will come. They're going to come. And I'm going to sit back from Europe and watch. I'm going to be like, damn, just like I'm doing now. Look at the news. You know what I'm saying? Look at the news. What's going to happen? Now, in light of this, while I have my universal health care and while I eat my cake and drink my motherfucking latte, I'm going to be watching cockroaches run and scramble who don't vote. They're going to be like, he said he wasn't coming after my health care. He said he wasn't coming after my mama house. He wasn't coming after my daddy. He said he was going. Trump said he was going to reduce the deficit. Trump said he was going to bring more jobs. You know what I'm saying? Trump said he's going to bring more jobs. No, Trump always does exactly what he says he ain't going to do. Okay, that's what Trump does. Okay, that's the only thing fucking Trump does, and he doesn't do anything else. Now, I have to do a little catching up on the news till we get into the main gist of this. But yeah, enjoy your life. That's all I can say. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. What state do you come from, and who is your healthcare provider? That's what I always say. Everybody, let me know if you're in the chat and you're enjoying the open and free chat. Let's have a conversation. What state do you live in, and who's your healthcare provider? And if you don't have a state and a healthcare provider in 30 seconds, your ass is on the menu too. Okay, so speak up.
An extraordinary last 12, 13, 14, 15 hours in this country. One thing that I'm disturbed by.
CS Michael, state and healthcare provider. Fab, state and healthcare provider. C500, state and healthcare provider. Wolf, state and healthcare provider. Trump say a lot of shit, Wolf, though. You're right.
Woke up this morning is seeing folks on the internet say that this was a false flag, that we are basically all in cahoots to say that this was staged. And I think as someone who, for all of us.
Now, for the record, I don't know if this was a false flag. I myself, when I reported on this, check. When I reported on this, I said, whatever it is, you just can't trust it. Like, meaning whatever is going on here, just don't trust that you're going to find out everything, and don't trust. My view is that they knew about it in advance. That's my view. My view is that they knew something. Somebody knew something about it in advance. That's my view. The guy, as more information comes out, I actually understand his feelings. You know what I'm saying? I actually understand his feelings. And I can't see where the lie is.
Who was in the room, who had to jump on the ground, who had to text our family and friends and tell them that we're okay, calling our moms, like so many people in this country have done for decades. To see people say those kinds of things, it is frustrating and it's disturbing. It shows the issues that we have to try and fix in this country. And I think nothing taught.
Yeah, I believe he's saying it's not staged, But I don't believe it was staged. But that's not the same thing as wondering, did someone know something about it in advance besides the shooter?
Us anything better than, the importance of journalists being on the ground, in the room for moments of historic significance than last night, us all dropping to the ground and literally like 5 seconds later, phones up and around so that the American people get a firsthand account of what's happening in a room where the most powerful people, including the president and vice president of the United States, were at.
I saw something that, the false flag, this was staged, is a big thing in MAGA world. But I'm hearing that on my social media pages from people on the left also thinking that this was staged, that this was.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, I don't believe it's staged. But I know one thing for sure. Given the background of Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein, okay, and the whole Epstein class, how they do things, right? The Supreme Court, given the background of the Supreme Court and the underhanded, money gifts that they don't report, which is against the law, right? Given their background, right? They didn't report those gifts. I wouldn't find it extreme to say that someone else knew about this and it benefits them. And so, it could have been stopped earlier, but it wasn't. And that's my idea about it. But I believe the guy who did it really believed in what he was doing. So
it's a false flag that this was something being done on purpose. And hearing you speak,
somebody said, what does insurance have to do with stage? Insurance has something to do with qualifying who you are when you make your comments in my open chat. So to keep the chat open, I require people in the chat to answer questions too, not just make statements. So X1, XI 500, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? That's all.
Gene, if it's coming from the right and it's coming from the left, these conspiracy theories, it says to me that it feels to be
Americans don't fucking trust the government. That's what it says. Americans don't trust the government. And I don't blame Americans for not trusting the government. I mean,
lack of trust in this country.
And empathy.
And if people can't see that a room full of journalists ran out of the room, got in front of cameras, got on their platforms telling people what happened in the room. If you cannot trust what we are telling you, I don't think that's an issue of journalism. That is an issue of American society. And so if you're watching The Weekend, you've been watching us, you've watched us now for 4 hours, I hope.
All right. So there's a lot of people obviously in the United States that don't trust the government. I find that interesting also. I don't blame anybody for not trusting the fucking government, especially right now. I mean, damn, why would you trust the Epstein administration? Why would you trust, if you thought you didn't trust Biden, why would you now trust this administration more? Especially if you didn't trust Biden. That don't make no goddamn sense. And where did all the, mistrust go for the government in the Biden years? Why would you now trust the government even more? Now everything's safe, y'all. Maxwell's about to be released from prison. Trump likes her. Trump says, she's a nice lady. Sounds all right. Sounds about right. Huh? Yeah. Sounds great. Everything's great. No, I say trust the government even goddamn less. What are you talking about? Like, I'm sorry. They're not fucking following the law and they don't care about you. Why would you trust someone that doesn't fucking care about you? That's like trusting your fucking sex trafficker. That's like trusting your slave master to do right by you. That's what that is. So you really trust the government, this government right now? You really trust that? This government has basically attacked in some way, shape, or form, whether it be verbally or otherwise through taxes and all of this shit, tariffs, has attacked the Western world. Every ally that the United States had, even its neighbor, even threatened, even thought it was just funny to say, hey, Canada should be part of us, insulted our neighbors, our closest neighbors. Why would you trust that? If I came into your home and said, man, fuck your mama, would you trust me? If I came into your house and said, fuck your kids, would you trust me? If I came in the house and said, fuck your neighbor, fuck your cousin, would you trust me? I mean, so why would you trust this government that has said that about all your neighbors, all your cousins? Who do you think you fucking come from? Trump called Africans third shithole countries. So if you're a person that has any African descent, why would you think that's appropriate? Just in word. If you're a person with any type of Hispanic background, you see how he's talking about treating countries in South and Central America. Why would you trust that? If you're a person of European descent, you've seen how he's treated your cousins. You've seen it. Why would you trust that? That's the same thing. So if you trust Trump doing those things, saying those things about those people, why wouldn't you trust me to say, fuck your mama, fuck your kids, fuck your cousin in your house, and then take your shit? Why wouldn't you? Because it's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing. You know, so I don't see what the argument is. If you had any distrust for Kamala Harris, how would you fucking trust Trump? Kamala Harris is not in the Epstein files. Where is Kamala in the Epstein files? You know, that's the double standard. They don't even need her to be in the Epstein files to fucking hate her more than the motherfucker that's in the files even more. You see what I'm saying? That shows you how deranged a lot of people's fucking brains are. But in any case, I would say the easiest thing is to say don't trust the government. That's the easiest thing to say right now. Whether you're right, whether you're left, I don't blame you for not trusting the fucking government. This government is fucking rogue. It's out of fucking control. And it is out of the Congress, the Senate, the goddamn Supreme Court, and the fucking White House. It's out of fucking control. It is not working to help American citizens first. It is not. It is making your life harder. A government is not supposed to do that. The job of the government is to make your life better. You know, and if you don't understand that and you paying taxes, oh wow, are you a goddamn fool? Oh wow, are you the fucking fool of the Western world? Oh fucking wow. And I am not you. I am not you. I'm an American citizen, but I am not you. I live outside of the U.S. I live in a free country with health care. I am not you. Like, I will never fucking be you. Just understand that. My taxes go to the common good. Everybody, everyday people like me. I am for that. I am not like you. Your taxes do not go for the common good of every other American. My taxes go to the common good of everyone that's around me. I'm not like you. I'm not like you. I'm just saying. I live in Denmark. Exactly. I live in Denmark as an American citizen. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Because American taxes do not go to benefit the everyday American. That is backwards. That is fucking backwards. And thank God I am not you. Thank fucking God I'm not a slave like you're a fucking slave. You know, like seriously. It has to be said this way. It has to be said this way because some people don't get it unless it's actually said this way. And I'm here for the people that need it to be said this way before they wake the fuck up.
Everybody, I'm about to show you Caroline Leavitt doing a almost master class in dancing around the factual reality of what's going on in the administration and only clinging on to this alternate reality that Trump himself has created. It's almost impressive. There's like two alternate realities going on right now. The factual reality that you and I lie in and we play in every single day. We use facts to build up our worldview. And then there's this entirely separate reality that Caroline Leavitt and Marco Rubio and a lot of these people deep down know is wrong.
All right, do me a favor, click the like button, those of you all that are watching. If you're watching from your TV, pick up the remote and do me a favor, click the like button. Also, if you're in the chat, click the like button. Hey, like it or love it, hate it or whatever, at least I'm allowing you to participate. The chat is open, and I'm telling you my thoughts. See, that's the difference here. This is not manufactured thoughts. This is what I actually really feel. This is a real goddamn American that is from Washington, D.C., whose family does come from both sides, on both sides from the colonial period, who did fucking move abroad, who does live actually in another country, telling you their real unfettered fucking feelings. So you should at least fucking be able to support that, even if you don't fucking agree. Okay, this what you hearing is not phony. I'm standing on it. Okay, I'm standing on it. You know, show some integrity. You know what I'm saying? Unless you want to watch Fox News every fucking day and just eat it up and CNN and
But they have to play by due to Donald Trump's
big up to Adam Mockler also.
Truth Social post. Whatever he said that day is the narrative. And today, last night rather, he said Iran is collapsing financially. They want the Strait of Hormuz opened immediately, starving for cash. Well, Only a few hours after Donald Trump posted this, Iran seized multiple vessels off the coast in the Strait of Hormuz and brought it back to Iran. So they clearly still have control over the strait. They clearly still have regional leverage, and the United States is struggling to come up with an answer as to why Iran has control. I'll show you, Caroline, in one moment, but then Donald Trump tweeted out raging about Virginia last night. Remember, Democrats took a massive, massive victory in Virginia.
Yo, this guy says Z1500 because he says, look, let me just put this up also so people can see it watching the video in case you're not in the chat. Let me show you what he said here, just so you can understand the confusion that some Americans have and why I'm here to straighten the ass out. OK, and it's nothing personal because I do this every day. You know, he says, because no matter where you live, you have to pay taxes in the USA. Are you a dumbass motherfucker or what? Wake up, you stupid motherfucker. I'm an American and I'm trying to help your dumb fucking ass. OK, in reality, he said, look it up, everyone. Yo, you do need to look it up. And how about you look it up first, okay? Before you come in my chat talking all that stupid shit. Listen, you don't. You report the taxes you pay, okay? That's different. Reporting the taxes you pay to the country you live in. The country that you live in is the one you pay the taxes to. You report the taxes you paid to the U.S. That's different from paying taxes, you stupid ass. You need to wake the hell up, man. You wake up. Just stop being stupid. Stop settling for mediocrity. That's all. Because you're dragging everyone like yourself down. All right. In any case, yo, listen. Not true, my friend. Look, here we go, buddy. Actually, it is true. So, bye. Because it is actually true. And I'm telling you, as an American, I file my taxes every fucking year. What are you talking about, you jackass? And let me tell you, secondly, what happens if you don't file? See, I pay taxes here, but the only time the United States government can take any amount of tax is when it's exceeding, when the amount of money you make exceeds. Like, I put it to you this way. If Elon Musk lived in Denmark, he would have to pay more taxes than he pays now. You see what I'm saying? That's how the tax system works. Ironically enough, but because he lives in the U.S., you see what I mean? He's paying less. But here's the thing. I don't make Elon Musk money. You see? So you need to really look and understand the nuances. The average person, right? You can make 200,000, 300,000, whatever. You're not paying taxes to the U.S. You're reporting them. You see what I mean? There's a limit. I forget exactly what the limit is, but you have to exceed a certain amount before you pay any taxes to the U.S. government, and that is the law. Okay, and it's not just the law for me; it's anyone else. Like, I'll give you an example. If I didn't file my taxes every year, right, to the U.S. government, when I needed to pick up a passport last year, they would be able to withhold it because that's one of the penalties they do to you when you don't file your taxes. There you have it. So why did I go to the U.S. embassy and get my passport renewed last year if I wasn't filing my taxes? You see? So it's really crazy. You know, you see, I don't know if that person, I'm going to go to their page right now and just check something out. I just want to see if that's just a person trolling who thinks it's cool to troll. And there are some dumbass Americans who think it's cool to troll. They're so stupid. But then there are others that ain't even American that just want to pass along foul information. So you can see private information. You can see this person is just a troll. So this person doesn't care about you, doesn't care about any American's life. They're just there trying to lie because they don't want Americans to believe they're owed something for the taxes they pay. And he knows that I'm here telling Americans from a country where, in Denmark, where people are like, hey, we expect services for our taxes. He knows that an American living in Denmark telling other Americans in the United States that this, how things actually work here, he knows that that's a threat to the billionaires. So he's just a pawn who doesn't even want to show you who he is not even brave enough to show you anything about his life. Look at this stupid motherfucker. Like, would you believe a person that shows nothing about who they are? You see what I'm saying? And this is how people have to break it down. Nothing. Just nothing. Zero. No content. Got a playlist, no content of their own. how to go down on a woman. Look at this. Let me show you. This is what they got. You gonna believe a person that does this? I mean, I hate to segue here, but I'm going to, because I just want to show you how stupid some people can be and how pathetic. This is what the person got on their page. So you're going to listen to this person? Let me see. Let me show that. This may not be a real picture of this person either. Just so you know, this may not even be a real picture. So you can't even take the picture to be real. You can't. So that's the whole point of trolling. Trolls try to get you to do stupid shit over and over and over to your own demise. So now that we dealt with that, let's get back to the regular broadcast here and something that does make sense that Americans should listen to. Okay, here we go.
After we won the redistricting vote we put up to neutralize the Republican redistricting. Some Republicans said to me, Adam, you think that redistricting is only okay when your side does it? And that's just such a faulty analogy. It's like if I got punched in the face repeatedly, and then when I finally punch someone back, the person says, oh, how come you're allowed to punch?
Yo, Mini Strax says, unless you are in BRICS country, you pay money to American empire. Even Denmark deals with the petrodollar until recently. Well, here's the thing about it. I'm not living in a BRICS country. I don't know. What country do you live in, Mini Stark? But I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm advocating for diverse energy, for green energy, right? Because my belief, like in Denmark, is that the more sources of energy you have, the cheaper energy becomes for all, right? Secondly, Denmark has its own access to gas they pump out of the Baltic Sea. Norway is also another country that supplies gas to many people. They have gas, they pump it, oil and shit like that out of the North Sea. Denmark uses the Baltic Sea that has oil and gas, right? Reserves, right? The Denmark does itself. So, but Denmark is big on green energy. I don't know if you know that, right? So they have windmills, right? They're huge in that. They've known that. So here's the thing. You need to think practically about what's going to help your life, where you are, and what's not. Okay. So, the United States does, have a lot of oil. They pump a lot of oil. And I'm not for this type of thinking. I think that the oil that they pump should be done like Norway does it. I think that all American citizens should benefit from all the oil that is being sold on the market, period, globally, especially globally. Maybe not domestically, but globally. That's what I believe. Yeah. How come American citizens don't get a piece of that check that's being sold, that American oil that's being sold? Why not? Because Norway does that. Norway actually does it. They have their own sovereign fund from the oil that they pump that holds up the services for the average Norwegian. Yeah. So how come Americans don't do it like that? How come Pete Hegseth don't do it like his like the country that his ancestors come from? How come they don't do it like that? You see what I mean? So they're basically saying is that it's okay for them to do that in Norway, but we're not going to do it in the United States. It's okay that Norway that the oil being pumped out of the North Sea benefits the average Norwegian, but we don't want the oil being pumped out of the United States of America to benefit the average citizen. That's literally what Americans go for. And every time Americans have the right to vote, they find more reasons why we don't want none of that oil money. No, that ain't our money. It just comes out of the ground, massa. That's all your money. See, a lot of these trolls are basically slaves. They're pretty articulate, though, some of them, but they're still talking, okay, massa, I do what you says. Another country found another way of doing it, but I'm just going to keep on taking the short end of the stick, massa, because you say so. You see what I mean? So, keep believing it. You can believe, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying pockets. Don't believe all the pain from your lying ass kids. Don't believe your lying ass mother. Don't believe your lying ass daddy when they say times are hard. Just keep believing Trump. Keep believing Fox News. They'll give it to you.
Dude, The Republicans have been the ones starting this war the entire time. We just finished it. Now Donald Trump is calling it rigged. He said just a few minutes ago, quote, "A rigged election took place last night in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. All day long, Republicans were winning. The spirit was unbelievable until the very end when, of course, there was a massive mail-in ballot drop. Where have I heard that before?" Bro, he's just making shit up. He's just coping with his loss by making stuff up. Let's transition over to Caroline Leavitt, who is not operating in the same reality as you and I, but is deciding to latch on to the alternative facts that Donald Trump has presented. I call them lies. I call them absolute distortions of reality that are harmful to our democracy. Let's check this out. As always, make sure to drop a like on the video if you want to help.
So now I'm going to go into this because I did mention the chat is open, right? And I said that's fair, right? You get to answer some questions, you get to participate, but you also get to support my channel by being in the chat. That's what you get. You have the right to do that, and you should support it, right? No matter if you disagree or not, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to go over and I'm going to put the chat now in subscriber mode. So if you're a subscriber, you're going to be able to be in the chat. If you haven't even bothered to subscribe, then we will know that because you're going to be locked out of the chat for like 5 minutes if you haven't clicked that subscribe button by now. So 1, 2, 3, like I told you before. So we're going to know the people that leave the chat and don't come back. We're going to know that they was up to bullshit, that they weren't actually really even respecting that the chat was open. You see what I'm saying? So at least we will know from there who is basically trying to be fair, right? At least we will know from there who's trying to be real about the conversation. You see what I'm saying? We know trolls typically don't even try. They're used to just talking shit, and that is just what it is, you know, and it's going to remain that way for a lot. But some of them are just people that are a little confused and need some help. Now, here, let me go back to this chat because there was an interesting comment that I'm going to put into Gemini. And the comment was, here we go. The comment was this one. From Christina Marshall. Don't even know if that's a real person, but fuck it. We're going to find out. Says the ERS, the External Revenue Service, literally will give you benefits from the oil that's was Donald Trump's started. So literally, this is talking points out of our future. We just have to make it happen. Okay, so let's put that in G. Let's put that over here and see if that's true. Maybe they're saying something true. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm just a little curious about that myself. Okay. Here we go. Now, it says you're spot on. The Internal Revenue Service, ERS, is a central piece of that vision, though there are some important nuances in it, how it connects to oil and benefits. Okay, so there's nuances there. Here's the breakdown of what the ERS is and how the oil benefits side of the equation actually works. What exactly is the ERS? The External Revenue Service was proposed by Donald Trump as a specialized agency to handle external money, specifically tariffs and duties on foreign imports, to shift the tax burden away from the American citizen, the IRS, and onto foreign entities. Oh, foreign entities. That's interesting. You know, I don't understand what the fuck that's. See, already this is incorrect. Because I said something totally different, right? And what I said is that Norway is doing it differently. This is not what Norway is doing. You know? So, but let's see here. Shift taxes, burden away from the American citizens, the IRS. See, that's not what Norway social system is basically held up, you know, largely due to its fund, its sovereign oil fund. The oil money goes into a fund, a large percentage of it, that holds up social services like education for all, healthcare for all. That's what we're talking about here. Donald Trump is not proposing universal healthcare or universal education. So that's very, very different. That's the first problem with this response, okay? The goal to shift to catch economics often Let me see here. Hold on. The oil connection. Okay. When it comes to the benefits from oil, the strategy is a bit twofold. Energy dominance. The administration's focus has been on unleashing domestic oil and gas production to drive down. It did that. Where's the health care for all? Where's it at? Where's the education for all? No. See, you have to understand this. Elitists in the United States are against middle class and poor people. It just is what it is. So none of this shit benefited them, you know? And tariff leverage. What the fuck? I'm not even going to continue this. This is ludicrous. I'm sorry. This is just ludicrous, you know? Let's go on. Let's get back into the Noble program. This is not, I'm sorry. Everybody needs to research independently on your own Norway and how it deals with its oil, okay? You will learn a lot, you know what I'm saying? And many other countries, you know, but Norway is one of them. And that's where Pete Hegseth, his family, descended from Norway, okay? And the Norwegians believe in something different than Americans do, okay? You might want to ask why that is, okay? And I would say it's because they love their people and the United States fucking government doesn't, you know, just simple. But let's continue here.
Boost the message of the Adam Mockler feed, and make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be traveling with my team a little bit this week. We're working on some networking and some projects. So
no, change doesn't happen overnight. But when you have 30% of the population that doesn't vote, change ain't never going to happen. Okay, how change happens. And it can happen overnight, by the way. Maybe not overnight, but in a couple weeks, change can happen. But how does any change happen? Well, if you want universal health care and universal education in the United States of America, you must do podcasts like this where you talk about the differences between Western countries like the United States of America and its other allies, the ones it claims are its allies, and what they do different with the tax system. That's what you need to do. But to make it more relevant in the United States, to make it realistic, in the United States, you have to have 2/3 of the Congress. That's the easiest way. You don't need, and we had this discussion many a times. You need it voted into constitutional law. That's all you need. So you need pretty much a strong majority to do that. You need citizens to say, yes, we deserve it because other people in Western countries have it. Why don't we? That's what we need to have to produce change. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter if it's overnight or if it's in Never Land. If you don't do the first thing right, it's never. Okay? And I don't know about you, but my life counts. My life matters to me. I don't know about you, HD Jones. I don't know about you, but I don't enjoy living life being a sucker. Do you? Do you enjoy your life being ripped off? This is a leather lie. Look at this. European socialism works because American capitalism keep them safe. No, that's not how it works. And it's not socialism. It's capitalism, you dumbass. Okay. Europe doesn't have socialism. Okay. It's capitalism. You know, you keep forgetting that. Secondly, the reason why they have universal health care and universal education is because they want it. The voters want it. That's why the voters in the United States of America do not want universal health care. It's not part of their morals or ethics. That's why they don't have it. The same reason why you lock up millions and millions and millions of motherfuckers every day. It's your ethics. Okay? It's your morals and principles. Don't run away from yourself. Look in the fucking mirror. It's you. You are the voter. The country goes the way of the voter. And if you don't vote, it means you don't fucking want it for your people. There it is. You don't want it. That's what it is. And the United States could have it better than anybody else and doesn't. And let's look at this. Let's just be clear here. Let's see here. Let's go back to this. Since people want to lie again and confuse you, right? Here we go. But at least we know people are subscribed up in the chat now. Now, the rest of them just disappeared, right? They couldn't even do that. Yeah. But they want to have a real conversation, but they don't want to support a real conversation. Okay. So, and you might think it's rude, but it's real. Okay. So, here we go. Now, let's see here. Where does the United States rate in healthcare. Let's see if you really talking about other people and what works and what doesn't work. At least you ought to know where you fit. It doesn't matter. You do it how you want. You do it all how you want. You ain't the best at it, and you need to shut the fuck up and learn from people that are better than you. Okay, that's just what it is. Okay, it says 10th. Damn, look at this. Damn, 10th. Look at that. Yeah. Australia, Netherlands, UK, Australia, Switzerland, health outcomes. Look at this. Overall performance, number 10. United States is not the best. Sorry, it's not. Top performers are Australia, Netherlands, and the UK. Interesting. Access to care, United States ranks 10th. This is one way to look at it. This is being conservative. Okay. Netherlands outbeats the United States. UK beats the United States. Germany kicks the United States fucking ass on healthcare. Okay. And you choose to do it that way yourself because you fucking vote for it. You are dumb. And if you can't learn from people that are better than you, you remain dumb. Okay. And you have no excuse because you have more money than anyone else. Okay. That means you get worse outcomes with more money. That means you're stupid. Health outcomes, 10th. Administration efficiency, 9th. I don't even think this shit is. It's even worse than this. It's even worse than this. You spend loads more money with worse outcomes. Man. Look, somebody say don't be rude. Man, shut the hell up. What the fuck? You're being rude by lying to people in this goddamn chat. I'm telling people the fucking truth, you know? And people deserve to hear it for once, okay? You are now put a 1 in the chat if the United States is the best in the world at healthcare. Put a 2 in the chat if hell no, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to say hell no, it's not because I live in the factual world. Okay? Yes, I live in the factual world. Okay, let's see here. Anybody else live in the factual world? Or are we going to live in the fictional world? Okay? You know, where everything is better just because I say so. In any case, yeah, let's move on here. You know, everyone knows the United States ain't shit with healthcare. It's just the way it is. You know, no need to play games with that topic because the data just doesn't support the United States. I mean, it just doesn't, you know. And anybody that thinks it does is just being ridiculous. Now, on to more about the person that wanted to kill Trump's ass, okay, and what they said about Trump. I find it pretty interesting, this story. I don't know where a lot of Americans fit on it. Now, here's the thing. MAGA called for the death of the Vice President of the United States of America, and MAGA called for the death of Nancy Pelosi. Now, do you support that? Anybody in the chat support on Jan 6? Put a 1 in the chat if you support January 6. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. I don't because they threaten the life of the Vice President and Nancy Pelosi. So I don't because I don't really think that that's a great thing, you know. But if you're going to have fairness and you're going to have equality, let's see where everybody stands. Here we go. Look, HD Jones says, America isn't perfect. You love Scandinavia. Move there. I do, you jackass. I live in Scandinavia. Boy, you catching up slow, you stupid ass. Catch up. God damn. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why don't you even join? Why don't you watch more of my programming so you can know who the person is that's commenting before you have such a strong opinion, HD Jones? Okay? Why don't you do that? Look, so HD Jones, do you support January 6th? Do you support the riots? Put a 1 in the chat if you do. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Everybody, put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Put a 1 in the chat if you do. Let's see here, because I had to live through January 6th, and I watched a hangman rope, and I watched people say, kill Mike Pence, and let's kill Nancy Pelosi. I saw that with my eyes. So, you know, it was on national TV. It was people wanted to. So, since that's not a joke, let's see. Okay, H.D. Jones done. Okay, so at least you on the side of that. So let's see here. Well, I mean, there's somebody who apparently wanted to kill somebody today. So let's see. I don't think most people would support it, but I know a lot of right wingers that supported January 2nd and supported hoping the threatening of her life, Nancy Pelosi. I know a lot of right wingers that openly supported the threatening of Mike Pence, and they thought it was justified because they wanted Mike Pence to overturn the election. So they believed killing and the threat of death is okay in politics, in American politics. So there we have it. Let's go on. Trump believed it was okay. He pardoned them. He pardoned people that actually went up there. You know, he hired people. You know, he believed and supports. Now, here's the thing. Do you believe it was okay to beat police officers on January 2nd, January 6th? Put a 1 in the chat if it was okay to beat the police officers and justified. Put a 2 in the chat if it wasn't. Here we go. So 2 in the chat. I don't think it was justified to beat police officers on January 6th. Now, let's see who else doesn't agree, okay, or agrees with me. Let's see who doesn't. Let's see. HD, do you think it was okay to beat police officers? Do you think it was okay, HD Jones, to beat police officers? Okay, so he says never. Okay, so he's not like the other people that got pardoned. Okay, plenty of people that got pardoned. You know, here we go. So let's this is crazy. Now let's continue. Here we go. Let's hear about this person's reasoning. Let's find out how many people identify with it.
Identified this man as Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from California. The D.C. police chief said the suspect appeared to be a lone actor, was believed to be staying at the Washington Hilton where this dinner was happening. CNN's Brian Todd has more on the suspect and what we've learned this morning about the Secret Service agent who was shot during the attack.
We have new information just in from the U.S. Secret Service regarding the Secret Service officer who was shot in the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Anthony Guglielmi, the chief of communications for the Secret Service, telling CNN that the officer in question has been released from the hospital and, quote, the ballistic vest helped us avoid a potential tragedy. That is according to Anthony Guglielmi, chief of communications for the U.S. Secret Service.
For me, for the people that didn't catch my last podcast before I went on vacation, which is likely a lot of people, saying, because people don't always take advantage. They just tend to follow what they think. If they think somebody's on the left, then they have their perspective already made up. If they think somebody's on the right, they have their perspective made up already. But I tell people millions of times, although I'm a registered Democrat, I am not your average Democrat, period. Just because I'm registered as a Democrat doesn't mean you know anything about what I think. You can only know what I think to listen to my actual thoughts and statements first. And if you refuse to listen to my actual thoughts and statements, it means you don't care anyway. All right. So having said that, I told people I believe in the ballot. Vote. But what I believe in, there's a lot of Americans that do not believe in voting. Very simple. They do not believe in voting. 1/3 of the U.S. population does not believe in voting or voting rights because they do not vote. Okay? So that population should be of interest to a lot of people because they probably believe in the gun. Okay? They probably believe in the gun, not the vote. Now, I stated I wouldn't recommend anybody do this because if podcasters like myself and American citizens recognize a few things, that is, number one, Fox News or CNN, they don't do comprehensive stories on healthcare. And they don't do that in the West. They don't do comprehensive stories on education regarding different countries in the West. They don't do that. So they don't inform American people about how others in the West deal with these issues and the results. So American citizens live in a vacuum like this when they watch CNN, when they watch Fox News, and that's a whole lot of fucking American citizens. But CNN and Fox News got Trump's tax breaks. Yes, they did. They do. Right? So you have to be kind of foolish to trust them. You see what I'm saying? To trust. And you got to ask yourself, why don't they do comprehensive stories on these things? Because you're horrible at healthcare. Let me tell you, it's one thing to believe you shouldn't have to pay for somebody else's healthcare. You hear that from a lot of Americans. A lot of them are foolish because they pay for other people's healthcare any fucking way and don't even realize it. Listen, what's going on in the United States is not just poor healthcare. You have poor people and middle class people through taxes paying for healthcare that they can't even access, because then the government, after taking your tax money, wants you to pay a deductible or a copay after taking your fucking tax money. That is stupid. That is suicidal. That is killing you. Just to make it very plain, that means you don't care about yourself. That means you don't care about yourself. That's what that means. Listen, why do they need a deductible? Why do you need a copay at the same time you're taking tax money out of people's pockets for it? Why? 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 Can you answer that? No, you can't, because it is wrong. Okay? It is backwards. Okay? If you didn't want to pay for someone else's health care, you wouldn't want none of it to be a part of the tax system, dumbass. Okay? So the truth is not that. That is not the truth. You see what I'm saying? So there's something else going on in the United States that's not actually being told. It's not actually being told. So if that led to anybody like the dude going down to Trump's, Mar-a-Lago estate, the young white American boy, right, from the South, he went down there by himself with a gun. I think it was a shotgun or something like that. He bought on his drive over there from Louisiana or some other southern state, and he went up to Mar-a-Lago to shoot Trump. He said, "Yo, it's because Trump promised this, this, and this, and Trump ain't do none of that shit. It's because he has a full-time job and can't afford to move out of his parents' house." That's what he said. That's what he said. The man said, look, let me tell you something. It's obvious his life didn't matter to the average American citizen or legacy media, because they don't care about what he said. What he said they should care about because he was an American citizen, but they don't care. At least he understood that. At least he understood. See, he didn't expect you to do right. There it is. He didn't expect you to do right. And when people don't expect you to do right, people do shit. So let's see.
An officer released from the hospital, Anthony Guglielmi declining to name the officer or the hospital where he was treated, but the officer has been released, according to the Secret Service. Some other information we're getting, according to sources who spoke to CNN, the suspect is identified as Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from Torrance, California. Now, according to the interim Washington Metropolitan D.C. Police Chief Jeffrey Carroll, he said that the suspect was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives in this exchange. Chief Carroll saying that the suspect and law enforcement officers did exchange gunfire, and the chief saying that they believe that the suspect may.
I wish Americans would settle their problems through voting, but it's very obvious they're not going to do that. It will be more Americans that do not vote this midterm election than in the history. I'm pretty sure of it. And yeah, you could argue about why all you want. But the bottom line is that the presidential election, 1/3 of the voting population didn't vote. And now the Voting Rights Act is being has been challenged and overturned. And they're even threatening to stop, not even have elections in some states, midterm elections. So, yeah, there's going to be less voting going on. And you're going to get the results of less voting. Yep.
Have been a guest at the Washington Hilton Hotel, the same hotel where this incident occurred. The chief saying that they secured a room there and are trying to determine the contents of that room. So that will provide some critical information. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Pirro, the suspect faces 2 charges at least. One of them is using a firearm during a crime of violence. The other is assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. And some quick information on this alleged suspect's background. According to public records that CNN was able to sift through, he worked as a teacher and a video game developer. According to a LinkedIn profile matching his name and photograph, it described him as a part-time teacher at C2 Education. That is a test prep and tutoring company. CNN has reached out to C2 for comment. We have not heard back from them. C2, according to its records, did name Allen as the company's, quote, Teacher of the Month in December of 2024. According to a LinkedIn profile, Allen graduated from the California Institute of Technology in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. He received a master's degree in computer science from Cal State University at Dominguez Hills last year in 2025. According to Federal Election Commission records, he donated $25 to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2024. And he described himself in his LinkedIn profile as a video game developer. He appears to have published at least one game, an indie game called Boredom, for sale on the Steam gaming platform. So a little bit more of the background of this alleged suspect.
Damn, it sounds like they advertising his game. Let me hear this one more time. I'm not shedding any tears for Trump. I'm not shedding any. Let me just tell you, I don't believe Trump gives a fuck about any American citizen, including myself. I believe if you don't have money and you're not rich and you're not an elitist, you ain't shit as an American citizen. That's what I believe Trump believes. That's what I believe Elon Musk believes. That's what I believe Peter Thiel believes. That's what I believe most of his cabinet believes. That's what I believe Jeffrey Epstein believes. Okay, and all these people are closer, and they have closer relationships than I have to any of them. Okay, I have no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Never met him, never had a business with him, never wanted to talk to him. I ain't nothing like him. Okay, and it wouldn't be caught dead in the same room with him. But Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Donald J. Trump and his wife would. Okay, so that's different.
Published at least one game, an indie game called Boredom for.
Okay, it's an indie game called Boredom. I don't know how that's spelled, but check that out, y'all. That might be interesting. Might be interesting to see what that game is about, right? I mean, since people are going into conspiracy theories. Now, me, I don't believe. The only thing I would say is that the government is led by a person that was Jeffrey Epstein's friend for 15 fucking years. I don't trust that person. Okay. So I don't trust anything that comes out of Trump's mouth. Why? Because his best friend for 15 years was the most active sexual predator, sex trafficker, blackmailer, espionager, okay, child rapist in the country's history. So I would be an idiot to trust anyone who hung around with a person like that and didn't even realize it. I mean, what the fuck? He's like, he just hung around. How do you not realize that? That's like me hanging around a bunch of people that was just trafficking cocaine all over the fucking place. Just all kinds of shit. Ecstasy, just anything. Methamphetamines. I just didn't notice. Just best friends. I'm best friends with El Chapo, and I had no idea. Me best friend is El Chapo. And look, I never said El Chapo was a nice guy. What the fuck? Yeah, longer than that, Robert. It's like, what the fuck? me no El Chapo friend. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like, but people are this dumb. You see what I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck if he tells the truth. Fuck Donald J. Trump. Get out. Leave the country. Run. Yo, I don't give a fuck. Get somebody better to tell the truth if he's telling the truth at all. Okay? Get someone who's not in proximity, wasn't in proximity to sex trafficking, blackmail, and espionage for fucking 20 something years. Exactly. Or more. You see what I'm saying? Get somebody who's not alleged to like little boys pumping them in the ass. Okay? That's what Donald Trump is alleged to be. Okay? Ugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, the man is alleged to be a psychopath, a sociopath, a predator. You know, like, come on. What do they expect out of people? Now, let's continue. Let me see here. I'm just catching up on the news. I've been on vacation for a week. So please bear with me while I catch up. I appreciate everybody coming out. Do me a favor. Click the like button if you don't mind. It helps more people come in contact to the stream. If you're here, you may as well click the like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Big up to Spain, by the way. Spain is one of the countries that said, fuck Donald J. Trump, man. We have pride. We don't give a fuck about you. We stand on who we are, and we don't like what you're doing, and we have the right to say that. And if you want to threaten us because we have a difference of opinion, you don't believe in democracy anyway. Fuck you. And so I was down in Spain. I was like, hey, all right, Spain. Let me go to Spain, man. Shit, what the hell? Went down there, had a beautiful time. I didn't show a lot of pictures because I was with my family, my kids, and things like that as personal moments and stuff like that. But I do have some that I'm going to show. It was wonderful. Had a wonderful flat. Had a beautiful time. And the people, Spanish people, wonderful people, man. Highly hospitable, know how to have a good time, know how to eat good food, know how to take in some good sun. You know what I'm saying? And I needed that. So let's continue here.
It's a very dark place now.
Yeah.
A lot of witchcraft and the Wiccan community has really taken over there. And we can't let that happen in Virginia.
The man you just heard making that statement now runs the U.S. Navy. And tonight's primetime focus, meet Hung Cow. In the midst of the biggest war since the invasion of Iraq, Pete Hegseth decided to fire his Navy secretary, and he replaced him with Cow, who told a Christian nationalist pastor in 2023 that witches had taken over a town in California and that he was running for the U.S. Senate to make sure it didn't happen in Virginia. A little bit of history about Cow. He immigrated to the United States as a child after his family fled Vietnam during the Vietnam War. He ran for Congress in 2022 and lost. He ran for Senate in 2024, lost again. But during those campaigns, Cow wasn't afraid to embrace controversy.
I know I'll be attacked by the left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better. What we need is...
Listen to this. This guy, I mean, you know, this is going to backfire on a lot of people that look like him. So, but again, this is opportunism at its purest when you have basically, you know, corruption, you know, at the core. As long as I get a job and as long as I'm getting a check, I'll do what you say. Fuck everything else. The most important thing is, do I get a check? And I will just sell out everything else. And, you know, fuck the other people that have to live with the consequences of what I do, you know? And it's sad to see this. It's sad to hear this because...
Isn't afraid to embrace controversy.
I know I'll be attacked by the left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win.
He needs alpha males and alpha females. I mean, you know, he wants a hood, a KKK hood. If the left is going to call him a white supremacist, look, the left would call you other things. They would say, like, you have internalized racism. You know, anytime you are capping for, you know, seeing Clarence Thomas as a hero, I mean, that's what the left would say. Like, this motherfucker's internalized racism. That's what it looks like to me when he's making jokes about the very real attacks the Asian community has actually lived through in the United States of America. I'm not saying that many aren't successful. I'm not saying that many don't have wonderful experiences in the United States of America or in other countries. That's not what I'm saying. But here's the thing. Why don't you understand that discrimination actually happens? and it happens in multiple different ways and fashions. Why don't you understand that? Would you want discrimination to happen towards a white person and have it go unchallenged or unpunished? Is that what you're saying? Would you want it? Who would you want it to? I mean, where is it okay? And the left is saying it's wrong regardless who does it. And the right is saying, no, it's right. It doesn't matter. Except, the only time it matters is when it's happening to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is ridiculous. Again, the United States of America was founded on different groups of people that were actually literally there sweating blood and tears. Okay? Literally. Okay? You can't just disappear those people. You can't just pretend that the origins of the country's foundings is different from what it is. You can't just do that through fantasy. No, people struggled, and you got to acknowledge all those people, and you can acknowledge all those people. And how can you acknowledge all those people? By simply understanding that no group of people, no color of people, no background of people have any superiority or any internal right over another. That's what you can do. You see what I mean? Who was in the United States in the foundings, in the colonial period? Were Native Americans in the United States? Did Native Americans have any contact with the British? Did they have any contact with the French? Did they have any contact with any of the civilian population? Yes, they did. They actually lived with a lot of them. Okay. They African Americans. They weren't just only fighting them. They were also living with them and working with them. Okay. Did you forget that part? Interesting. Asian Americans, African Americans. Did you forget that? Did you forget it? But did you forget? Are you only trying to remember the good things and you're just not able, like a child, to even look at the bad things? Usually you tell the child, you say to when a child is around, this conversation is not for the children. This conversation, we won't do that. But is it for the adults? Is it for the adults? Because every country has its dark side. It doesn't matter where you are on earth. Every country has dark elements to it that, that people can talk about. For example, how did Christianity come to Denmark? Who were Danes before they became Christian, right? What's older? Who are the people? Did the people exist before it became a Christian country? How did Christianity spread throughout Europe? Christianity, yeah, there was some politics to it, but there was also some swords. And who were those swords used against? What did the people look like? What was the color of the people? Did they discriminate? No, not necessarily. No. They put people to the axe and burned people and did whatever they had to do. White folks, they did that shit to them. That's what happened. So you can't pretend that I'm not saying it was only that aspect, but you can't just disappear the bad parts either. You see what I mean? The parts that are inconvenient for what you want to believe. And that's what we're doing in the United States of America. We're not honoring the fact that multiple groups of people sacrifice for the country to be the country it is today. That's wrong. Women. Did women have the right to vote? Were women just happy-go-lucky, having fun, no right to vote, no right to own any property? I'm just happy with it. Or were they sad about it? Quiet, internalizing it, trying to cope with it, fighting against it. What did women do? You're just going to disappear that women's suffrage movement? Yeah, that's what they're actually trying to do. So it's not just about color or race. They don't give a fuck about the women. Just the women. You see what I'm saying? Just the women. Fuck those women. That's how they think. And that is exactly how they're going about it in the law. And then you have this kooky ass motherfucker making fun about it. He doesn't realize he's a stooge, because when you make fun of one group suffering, you make fun of all groups suffering, and they're using him as a tool to do that. Everybody has to see him as a threat. If you have any sense, you got to see it for what it is.
I know I'll be attacked by the left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better.
Yeah, what does that mean? He's making fun of white supremacists who hunt down people like him and make chinky jokes about him. Ching chong, ha, slit-eyed, slant-eyed, ha. That's the best he got. That's what he has. That's what we're going to do in 2020 and 2026. That's so old. That's so ignorant.
I know I'll be attacked by the left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can
Rafika, big up. I appreciate you. I see you out there. I appreciate that.
see better. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win wars.
Yeah, and now Hung Cow.
Yeah, because that's not a war crime. What the fuck is he talking about? So you need alpha males and alpha females that are going to rip out their guts and eat them. Okay, is that how war is waged in 2026? Is that how it's done? That's not what Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are talking about. Why is he talking about war differently? I don't understand that. Why is he? Because when the taxpayers need to cough up some of their motherfucking money, which they will, the argument is usually pointed differently. We need to stay ahead of the time, the technology, the robots. We need the robots. We need this. We need the technology. Nobody, when they're trying to get you to cough up your tax dollars, they're not talking about somebody ripping out somebody's guts and eating them. I don't know.
Is the 10th person to serve as Navy Secretary across Donald Trump's 2 terms. And he's been plucked to lead the largest and most well-funded Navy in the world in the middle of the Iran war. Now go back to where we started with that witchcraft interview. The man Hung Cow said it to is named Sean Foyt. He's a Christian nationalist. That's not a smear or an exaggeration, name calling. It's quite literal, in fact. He has said on camera that he wants Christians, and only Christians, writing the laws based on biblical law. So when Hung Cow went on Sean
he wants only Christians writing the law according to biblical. Okay, so what is the biblical law, man? So in other words, when it's time to go eat your meat, he wants you to have a. Anyway, I'm not. Listen, I'm sorry, but they're not doing that. What countries are they doing this in? Practicing Christian law? What country is that? What Western country is that? Is that a Western country? Like, what Western countries practice Christian law? No, you have the right to practice your religion as long as it does not go against the law. Okay, the actual law of the country. With law, land will be built. Okay, that. I forget whose law that is. Somebody in Denmark starts with a V. Is it? Or someone's law. I forget whose law it is. But in any case, the land will be built with law, through law, right? And this dude is talking about Christian law. What the fuck? Yo, there's nothing. Is the Constitution Christian law? Like, I don't understand it. These people are so confusing. They're not happy with the Constitution. But then they tell you the Constitution is a Christian country. The U.S. is a Christian country. The founding fathers were Christians. Well, then why are you not happy with the Constitution? You know, no, they wanted to go further and get you to just start taking out Bible quotes. Listen, 2,000 years ago is a long motherfucking time. OK, unless you want to start dressing like it and put yourself in the Middle East. I'm not understanding it. You see what I mean? And going back in time, too. You know what I'm saying? Going back in time. Like, do you want to start fighting the Egyptians and shit for power? Like, what are you trying to say? You're against the Roman Empire? Because the Romans weren't fucking Christians. You see what I mean? They killed Jesus. Did you forget? Like, see, so these people send out so many confusing messages. You can't use it for nothing. It's just total craziness. It's total craziness. You know, it's an abdication, but this is what Donald Trump and his supporters think is good. I don't understand. Now check this out. Going back to the Secret Service shit. Apparently, somebody
data annotation
was
great experience so far.
Apparently, there was some warnings about the shooting. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm just randomly going through it, but there is some news here. Let's see. Yes, there was apparently some warnings I'm hearing. Let's see.
Right now, MS Now senior investigative reporter Carol Lenig. So, Carol, good to have you. I understand you have some new information to share. It's related to one of the suspects' family members. What can you tell us?
Yeah, you know, everyone's working triple time trying to understand everything that the Secret Service knew and when they knew it. And our information now is that they were aware last night, alerted by New London, Connecticut police, somewhere between 9 and 11 p.m., so right around the time all of us are being evacuated from the Hilton, and when the president is thinking about maybe returning to dinner, eventually actually holding a press conference and giving some statements at the White House after he decides it probably isn't the best thing to continue the dinner. In that time frame, the Secret Service and the FBI are learning from the New London, Connecticut police about the writings of the suspect. A brother of the suspect had first alerted the New London police, and that's when our information is that the Secret Service learns of an intent and a motive by this suspect to harm Donald Trump and harm members of his administration.
All right, so I'm going to look up his manifesto real quick while this is playing.
Your sense of the brother, was he telling this to the police because he wanted to stop it from happening? Was he trying to prevent anything from happening?
He found it disturbing and worrisome, and we now know that in those writings, the suspect describes himself as basically being on a mission to, kill federal officials and to get in the way of what they might do. So yes, our understanding is the brother found this disturbing enough that he wanted the police to be aware of it. Whether, he didn't give the police instructions, but was basically saying this is a see something, say something moment.
So by our timeline, the incident went down about 8:38 last night, and you're saying that New London, Connecticut police alerted sometime between 9 and 11 p.m. So after the fact, certainly, the Secret Service. Do we know at what point New London police were made aware of the brothers' concerns? Because you can imagine they don't just get something and immediately run it up the flagpole. They might want to try to parse through it themselves, see if it's...
Okay, so apparently days leading up to the shooting, people were warned. That's what it says. There were several warnings, but they happened in different ways. Some just minutes before the attack and others in the days leading up to it. Here's the breakdown of who knew what and when. The family and former employer minus minutes before, the family and former employer just minutes before the shooting began around 8:40 p.m. April 25th, 2026, Allen sent a scheduled email to his family and former employer. So before the guy did it, he sent out emails, right? The content. In the email, he apologized for the trouble he was about to cause and identified himself as the friendly federal assassin. Okay, so that's similar to MAGA talking points, like Jan 6 talking points, if you ask me. And again, it's my opinion, but I'm going to give it, as I always do. And this is what he said. He called himself the friendly federal assassin. A lot of MAGA people believe that Joe Biden was part of some covert anti-American conspiracy and Kamala Harris to thwart democracy, and therefore it was okay with attacking the Capitol on Jan 6, threatening Mike Pence and threatening Nancy Pelosi because they were doing something against the Constitution. Right? They were breaking the law. They were being un-American. So therefore, they claim it was justified. Okay? Trump told people your country will never be the same again if you don't do something about it. Well, it's funny because he's in power now. How did that work out? Apparently, the country could last 4 more years, right? But this guy identifies with the federal government, friendly federal assassin. This is crazy. Okay, the reaction. His brother contacted the police in New London, Connecticut, after receiving the message. However, the call was placed at 10:49 p.m., roughly 2 hours after the shooting had already occurred. Okay, so that one from his brother was too late. General Secret Service warnings days before. Days before the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Secret Service Director Sean Curran testified to Congress about a significant uptick in threats against the administration. While this wasn't a warning about Allen specifically, it shows that the agency was already on high alert for a potential event during the dinner. On site, K9 warning moments before. This is currently the most controversial part of the security timeline. Surveillance footage and reports indicate that a security dog flagged Allen as he approached the final checkpoint at the Washington Hilton. Investigators are looking into why he wasn't immediately detained at that moment, as he was able to rush through a magnetometer and open fire shortly after the dog alerted. So the dog knew something was up. The dog's been trained to know when someone has a weapon, but they ignored the warnings, I guess. 4 self-reporting cases. Okay, damn. Allen had been staying at the hotel for several days and was seen on surveillance casing the area the day before. The missing sign. Okay, his sister later told federal agents that she knew he was prone to making radical statements and had purchased weapons, but she was unaware he had brought them to D.C. or was planning an attack. Man, I'm just saying right now, it's not sounding like they do a good job. The investigation is now focused on the K9 warning and why a man with multiple weapons was able to check into the hotel and roam the halls days before. But I mean, listen, y'all, listen to this. Just again, I really myself, I don't understand it. You know, I really do understand that the United States is at a point of inflection. And listen, you can say whatever you want, but there is something extremely, extremely, extremely strange about a man being able to show up in the same fucking hotel that an event is happening in, bring guns with him, and that is not stoppable. Yeah. I'm not sure what the point would be. Why is that not stoppable? I don't understand that. You're not allowed to search people's bags. You don't want to know who's carrying what in a hotel. Is that what's going on in DC? Is that what's going on? So if they couldn't stop this dude, you can't stop nobody. I'm serious. If you couldn't stop this dude before he did something, you can't stop anybody. You can't. Just think about how much more safer people would be if you couldn't get into the hotel where the event was happening with weapons. I mean, what the fuck? You know, so I'm just not really understanding this. It is bizarre. But these are just the facts. And to me, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy. I don't think so. I just think it's very, very strange. And again, maybe the strangeness is just how the United States does shit, period. Maybe that's just, look, we could compare this to how the United States does healthcare. Very, very strange. We could compare this to how the United States does education. Very, very strange. Not like any other Western country. No. And it's true. It's not. It's fucking not. Hold on, let me see here. Rafika says, so when he was having these visions of the evil angels, when he had to put them in the mountains, and they, oh, you talking about that? Oh, you guys are still debating about the Bible parts. Okay, but in any case, you know, it's not this guy she's talking about. Yeah, I just think the U.S. is at an inflection point. The United States does not do things in a rational way. Again, healthcare is a reflection of it. The lack of healthcare, the poor standards in the educational system. It's just another inflection point. And the fact that they don't even think there's something strange about the fact that people can show up to the place where the president is going to give a speech days before, and you can just bring your weapons. They don't think that's strange. Like, let me just ask this one point, just to illustrate what I'm saying, because maybe it's not really understandable to everybody. Let me see here. Let's see here. Was it legal to bring weapons to this hotel? Let's start there with basic questions, right? Just to make it painfully obvious. Just to know. Listen, so it wasn't. It was absolutely not legal. Okay. While the U.S. has varied gun laws, the District of Columbia has some of the strictest in the country, and the specific circumstances of the White House Correspondents' Dinner made bringing weapons there a major federal offense. Here's the breakdown of why it's illegal. Just think about this. I mean, again, this is in a hotel where the president is scheduled to speak. It shouldn't matter what president. Just the president. Any old president. Even if it was Biden. This is what they have for you. This is the best they can do. What is Congress going to do about this? What is the Senate going to do about this? Nothing. 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 What's the Supreme Court going to do about this? Nothing. Not their job. Not their job. Okay? They can just have a free steak dinner. Okay. Here's the breakdown of why it was illegal. D.C. strict firearm laws. Even if a person has a concealed carry permit from another state, D.C. does not recognize out-of-state permits. To legally carry a gun in D.C., the firearm must be registered with the Metropolitan Police Department, MPD, and the owner must have a specific D.C. concealed carry license. The violation. The shooter, Cole Thomas Allen, traveled to California with his weapons. Damn. All right. Bringing those guns across state lines into D.C. without following the strict registration laws was an immediate legal violation. Okay. But he was able to do it. Gun-free zones and special events. Under D.C. law, even licensed owners are prohibited from carrying firearms in specific sensitive locations. Public gatherings. It is illegal to carry a firearm at a public gathering or special event open to the public. Okay. Is it? Wow. That's funny because a lot of MAGA folks sure don't understand that law. Right. So does that mean people that had their guns in D.C. that day, that was illegal on Jan 6? Just curious. I mean, it's got to work for everybody. Got to work for everybody for it to be fair. So fuck legal. Is it fair? Okay, because you should have ethics and morals too, right? And part of your ethics and morals should be fairness, right? That's what makes things work, the fairness, okay? As soon as you don't display fairness or care for fairness anymore, all that other shit is going to collapse. Alcohol establishments. Carrying is prohibited in any places that serves alcohol for consumption on site, like the Hilton's ballroom. Okay, so you can't. Carrying is prohibited any place that serves alcohol for consumption. Okay, so the Hilton's ballroom and bars. Okay, C9, the Washington Hilton had posted no gun signs, and as a private property hosting a high security event, they had the legal right to ban weapons entirely. Okay, they had the legal right. Federal National Special Security Events, NSSE, because the president, vice president, and high-ranking cabinet members were in attendance, the dinner was designated as a national special security event. Okay. Interesting. Designation places a Secret Service in charge of security under the federal law, bringing a weapon into the restricted building or grounds where a person protected by the Secret Service is temporarily visiting a federal crime. Okay. Magnetometer. Okay. This is why Allen was charged with assault on federal officer and attempted assassination by rushing the security line with a shotgun. He violated the federal perimeter. Okay. Interstate. Now, hold on. Now, let me just see something here. What I want to know is something else. Now that we got that, I want to know one more thing. So why was he allowed to show up and check into the hotel with the weapon. I mean, fuck the law. Is something else going to stop it? You know what I'm saying? Besides just a piece of paper. You don't have the right. This is the central question that has lawmakers and the Secret Service under fire right now. The reality is a mix of legal gray areas, logistics, and specific strategy the shooter used to bypass the high security parameters. Here's why Cole Thomas Allen was able to check into the Washington Hilton with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives without being stopped. The guest loophole. While the White House Correspondents' Dinner was a high security event, the Washington Hilton remained a functioning hotel with over 1,000 rooms. Perfect place to kill the president, basically. I mean, literally. What else is going on in there we don't know about? I'm serious. Espionage, anything else? Any other crimes? Prostitution going on there? What else? Child sex trafficking going on there? Like, yeah, it's illegal, but who's stopping it? The check-in. Allen booked his room weeks in advance. When he arrived on Friday, April 24th, he checked it in like any other guest. I'm sorry, but this shit reads itself. It reads itself. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. You know, I'm sorry, but, you know, again, the United States, we do things differently. We do healthcare differently. Room service. Exactly, man. Yo, all kinds of shit could be going on in this place if that's the case. Look, they could have planned. It could have been an elaborate plan to kill everybody in the room. Essentially, how do you know someone didn't bring a bomb? How do you know that? Who's stopping someone from bringing a motherfucking bomb into the Hilton? Who's stopping it? How? Whose job is that? I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Big girl, what's up? There you go, Bev. I don't get it. I don't get it. It just doesn't pass the sniff test. You know, I'm sorry, but this is just bullshit. This is just more, and the taxpayers pay for it. You pay for it all. You know, if one thing you know for sure, you paid for everything. You pay for every goddamn thing, and you pay for everybody to have dinner too. You know, yeah, it's just crazy, man. I don't understand it. Let me see here. Now there's people saying, is it fake? La la la. Is it fake? Nah. Let me go back one more thing before I get back to the news. I just wanted to see, what was this guy's point? What was the shooter's main problems with Trump? I just want to see if anybody identifies with it. Doesn't mean you believe in shooting. Me, I might identify with him, but I believe in voting. So, but most Americans don't. You know, not most, but 1/3% of the American population do not believe in voting. So they're very different from me. So I would rather solve problems through vote. I encourage people to vote. I encourage people to register to vote right now. One of the ways you know that that's serious is because here, like always, I have this prepared for anybody to see on any stream. Call your county clerk, register of voters, or board of elections and make sure you are registered to vote or register in the state with your correct address. That is if you want to change something. Okay, I suggest you register to vote. It takes time to get all the necessary paperwork to register to vote. So whatever your state says, get out there and do it fast. Don't wait for the midterm elections to do it. Vote for change. You can do it. It's your country. We're talking about federal elections. We're talking about only citizens, right, have the right to vote in federal elections. That's already been established by Congress. Now, the question is the ethics and the morals and the brains of the American citizen. That's up for grabs. You see what I mean? American citizens may not want every American citizen to have health care. American citizens may not want every American citizen to have access to education. American citizens may not want every American citizen to have access to a fair wage, to a job that pays a fair wage, to where they can afford to live a half an hour from where they work, something like that. You know, take care of their kids while they have a full-time job. The average American may not care about those things. So it's up to the ethics and the morals and the principles of the American citizen. And let me be the first to tell you, just like healthcare, just like education, it's just like the gun laws. It ain't the same as every other Western country. In fact, the United States stands alone with all these things. It stands alone. When it comes to what you do with your tax dollars and who gets it, the United States of American citizen is the most different from all other Western citizens. All different. Morals and ethics, different. Yeah, they might quote the Constitution. They might quote our founding fathers. They might quote Western civilization, but they are literally the stain in Western civilization. They are the ass crack of Western civilization. They are the dookie stain on the underwear. It is fucked up. They are trifling with this shit, you know. And I have to say that as an American citizen, born and raised Washington D.C., family goes back both sides to the colonial period. But as a grown ass man, I live in Denmark. Thank God for Denmark. Big up to the Danes for having the ethics and the morals for caring about your people and your nation. Big up to you. Big up to you for being ethical and principled people, for being, you know, people that just give a goddamn, you know, that want the air to be fucking clean, you know, that want people to have a fair shot. You see what I'm saying? Big up to you for that, man. Us Americans don't know what the fuck that's like. So I'm blessed to live here. But in any case, back to this one. Based on the excerpts that have been released by the FBI and reported in the media, Cole Thomas Allen's manifesto focused on a specific set of moral, political, and personal grievances against Donald Trump and his administration. Yes, fuck Donald Trump. We all have personal grievances against Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? He threatens allies. Fuck him. Even though he didn't always use the name Trump directly, he made it clear through his targets and rhetoric that the administration was his focus. Okay. Here's the main problem outline. Okay, here we go. Perceived moral and legal crimes. Okay. In one of the most widely quoted parts of his writing, Allen accused the president of being a pedophile, rapist, and traitor. Put a 1 in the chat if you like, or you identify with pedophiles, rapists, or traitors. I do not. Put a 2 in the chat if you do not. I do not, so I'm putting a 2. So I can understand that. If that's his grievance, yeah. It looks a lot like Trump is a pedophile and a rapist and a traitor. Yeah, it's looking a lot like that. The intent. Okay, he wrote that he was no longer willing to permit these alleged crimes to coat his hands by remaining passive. Damn, man. That's interesting. Okay, so he had enough of those things. Okay, now wait a second. He said something about being a traitor. Let me see. Did he say anything else? Traitor, anything more deep connected to that? I'm just curious. Let me see here. Damn, this looks just like the signature on on that Epstein gift. All right, let me see. Birthday letter. Okay. On the evening of April 25th, blah, 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 law enforcement officials, identified 31, quote, manifesto, that officials attributed to Allen's criticizing Trump administration referred to him as a friendly federal assassin and stated that he intended to target administration officials. The manifesto did not name Trump, but stated, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Okay. On April 27th, Allen was charged with 3 criminal counts using a firearm during a crime of violence, transportation of a firearm in interstate commerce with the intent to commit a felony, and attempting to assassinate a United States president. He has not yet entered a plea. However, he faces life in prison if convicted. He's going to be the most popular American of all time. I'm just telling you, like, if somehow he doesn't come out to be a complete lunatic, which he doesn't sound like already. He sounds like it was a political assassination attempt. So he sounds like he knew what he was doing, but he's going to be the most popular. I'm telling you, man, when all this is over, should he get a pardon? Do you think he would get a pardon? Should he get a pardon, y'all? Should yeah. Matter of fact, should he get a pardon? Can't the president just pardon him of federal crimes? Isn't that okay? And who can do anything about it if the president just wants to pardon Cole? Whose business is it? It ain't none of your business. Okay? That is absurd. That is absurd. This is crazy. Look, the next president could pardon him. That's wild. That is interesting. That is interesting. Okay. Now, Innocent was the third apparent. The incident was the third apparent attempt on Trump's life since 2024, following the July 24th attempt near Butler, Pennsylvania, and the September 24th attempt at Trump's golf. Yeah, seriously, man. Seriously. And he was the first one that has had any other. He let's just say this: he wasn't a white guy. He's a black dude, pretty much. He would be seen as black in America. His mom was white, I think. His dad was black. His siblings also multi-ethnic in that regard. But he would be the first one. The rest of them are white guys, pretty much. They hate Trump, right? Ain't even voted for Trump. Trump has a wide variety of people that hate his ass. That is for sure. And I think they hate Elon Musk and Peter Thiel along with it. Now, let me see here. So where are they going to get to the manifesto? I just want to read what he said, man. I don't want to, all this other stuff. I'm not that interested in it. Yeah. Any case, enough of that. I just wanted to see if there was a manifesto out there that we could read some more and learn about what he is talking about. Now, I don't know, but the fact is that the next president can pardon this man. So that's going to be interesting. And it's going to be interesting. I would like to know, which is why I try to keep the chat open. But as you notice, there's a lot of people that don't want to subscribe. They feel like subscribing is too much to be in the chat, which is why I always open it up live to see who's a hypocrite, to see who's going to be in the chat. And then the moment you ask everyone to subscribe, to see who said, nah, fuck it, man. My comments ain't worth no subscription. I ain't going to subscribe to him, man. That's going to help him out too much. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, okay. Well, in any case, yeah, I just think it's really weird. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Let me see. Trump. Now, let me move on. Let's move on. There's more Trump news. There's some stuff about the Supreme Court also that's coming out. So let's just peep this. Where's this at? Can I get this back up again? Boom. Yeah. Here we go. Let's peep.
Even when Trump gets a lifeline, he somehow manages to screw it up. So here's the backstory, because it is essential in understanding the blunder that Trump just made today. Republican Senator Thom Tillis has publicly warned the Trump administration that he will not advance Trump's new pick for the Fed chair, that's Kevin Warsh, so long as Trump continues with his existing vindictive prosecution of the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell. Here's Tillis making that point.
No, I'm a pretty predictable person. I have said that we need.
Now, Tillis is the head of the Senate, right? For the Republicans. He's the majority Senate representative for the Republicans.
In the investigation. And I do hope that we'll have a turnover even with Chair Powell rolling out sometime before the 2028 when his term expires. But look, the president, excuse me, Paula, on the night that I said that I was not going to move forward with a nom because of this investigation, the president said he wasn't aware of the investigation. DOJ moved unilaterally. DOJ needs to fix this problem.
Now, obviously, Trump wants his nominee, and obviously he knows that Tillis won't relent while he continues to prosecute Powell. So, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C., led by Jeanine Pirro, because we live in hell, just announced that it would not move forward with its prosecution of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Pirro wrote, quote, "This morning, the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve has been asked to scrutinize the building cost overruns in the billions of dollars that have been borne by taxpayers."
Yeah, so they're going after Jerome Powell, and basically they want to fix the numbers for the American people. So, at a time where there has been a lot of turbulence with the economy, where the debt is up higher than ever, right? Because Trump didn't do what he said he was going to do, which was reduce the debt. Of course, sycophants for Trump don't care, because they would be like, well, it would have been like that if Biden wasn't, Kamala hadn't been elected, But the fact remains that it shouldn't matter how, when you say you're going to reduce it, you should just reduce it. But it's not reduced. It's exploded now even more. It's just 1 year into Trump's term, and the debt has just exploded. Now, while that's going on, basically when you're talking about the Fed chair and removing them, it's basically about fixing the numbers to try to make the economy look stronger than what it is, or look different from what it is. Like, I always describe the U.S. economy as like a tower. It's very tall, but it's very skinny. It's not wide, because it doesn't actually reach the masses of people in the same way that it does in other Western countries, right? So that economy is not spread out as a net involving masses of American people. It's actually disenfranchised a lot of American people. So the U.S. economy is very high. The numbers are very high, but it's not thick and wide. It doesn't circulate around through the average citizen like that. It circulates through a few people's hands, you see. So that's how I describe it, and that's kind of like how I see this with Jerome Powell. The only benefit they get, which is petty to do, because come on, you're getting everything else you want. Why do you need to fix the numbers? Why do you need to fix the numbers? You know what I'm saying? But they're going after it anyway, and this just shows you that Trump is kind of crazy. It's not just that there's a plan being executed. It's with the leadership of a crazy man. So there's a plan in place with the crazy man willing to do it, and it slips out every once in a while. It slips out, and this is one of the slips. But let me get back to this. Let me see what Midas Touch said about this shooting. Let me get back on this one. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to see what was being done about Jerome Powell real quick. But let's see here. Let me also know what you all think about Jerome Powell. Like, do you really think this is worth it for Trump? Is this like something that exposes Trump's craziness, like his obsession? Because Jerome Powell hasn't done anything wrong. Like, what has the man done wrong? Why do you need to remove him? What is the urgency? And to me, it just shows me that Trump is incompetent. Like, as a leader, he's not the one in charge. It's more likely Peter Thiel, the billionaires behind him, that are in charge, not him. So all these policies, you see Trump signing them. Notice how Trump double speaks. He talks about the auto pen and Biden doesn't know what he's signing. It's likely Trump is less connected to what he's signing than a normal president, because when you ask him about stuff, he doesn't seem to really know, he benefits though from it. But let's see here. I just want to see what the Midas Touch said about this shooting here.
Red flags after this purported shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night at that Washington, D.C. Hilton. As soon as the shooting took place, immediately the MAGA influencers started posting things like this. Tonight is one more reason for the new White House Trump ballroom. Thank God President Trump is building the White House ballroom. This is why we need Trump's ballroom. We need the White House ballroom.
Obviously, these are trolls on the net for Trump. It's just trolls over and over and over and over, why are they all just saying ballroom, ballroom? It's like all on cue, everybody say ballroom. This is what we're going to say today. This is why we need the ballroom. So obviously this ballroom is very, very important. It's situated on top of the actual bunker where the president would go in an emergency in a nuclear strike. And so it is also interesting that he wants to be so involved in that Congress, the president himself, and what is happening in that bunker, or over that bunker. Like, it's an obsession. So it just makes you wonder, like, is this guy planning on running in the bunker and never leaving power? Like, is that really Trump's plan, to just go hide in the fucking bunker, create a war and hide in it? And it seems like it probably is. I can't say that he's not planning on doing that, because look at what they're doing. I mean, it's just like all he got to do is snap his fingers and everybody's talking about the reason is the bunker, we need the bunker, we need that bunker, this is why we need the bunker, we need those changes, we need the reconstruction of the bunker, we need the new bunker, it can't be the old bunker that Biden had, no, because Biden and other people would know how to get in that bunker, we can't have the military, it's got to be only a few people that know, a new secret society. I mean, to me, that's what it sounds like they're going after, but maybe it's not, I hope it's not, but then again, do you trust them? Why would you trust them?
Of Donald Trump's MAGA influencers immediately. I mean, within 9 minutes of the purported shooting, they started pushing that message. Then you had MAGA Mike Johnson purportedly run.
And who's behind the trolls? Who's behind that? Is it Putin behind the trolls? Is Putin the master of the troll army out there? Does Putin want a new bunker?
Away from the shooting, but then immediately thereafter, the House Republican official GOP account posts the following: fight, 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 with a fist emoji and an American flag. This is what they're going to do each time now. Then you had MAGA influencers posting things like this: shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Shooter is dead. Thank you, Secret Service. And they're taking like glam shots of themselves. I think they then deleted it, but they're doing like weird glam shots. Then you had Dana White basically glorifying what took place. I mean, Dana White, one of Trump's top allies, they're doing the UFC fight together in a few months at the White House, apparently based on our taxpayer dollars. That's what they're spending their money on. Then Dana White's like, this was effing awesome. I took it all in. This is effing awesome. So
the shooter is alive. The shooter's alive. Why are they talking about the shooter is dead? The dude is apprehended. And I'm happy that he's apprehended. I mean, I'm happy because I think all the shooters should be apprehended. This way we get to know more about them. When they're dead, you don't get to hear their own words,
saying that a purported shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is awesome, as you're all pushing a message.
Norma, I appreciate you. Yeah, it was a great vacation. I'm so happy to be back too, but it was well needed, the vacation. Ooh, it was beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
About building the Golden Ballroom now and how this shows we need the ballroom. And then later I'll show you Donald Trump's like, and this isn't going to deter us from our ability to win in Iran. And I'm like watching this. I'm like, what are we talking about? Now, could we talk about whether they were serious?
Now, listen, did Trump just say Iran is over? Didn't Trump just say Iran is over now? Didn't he just end the war? Let me know. Let me see here. I believe I saw something where he said it is over. The U.S. war against Iran has ended. Something like that. Right. Damn, where is this at? Shooter release, shooter Patel. Goddamn Patel, man. This is crazy. Let me see here. Did Trump end this war? Let me just try to see if I can dig that up. I believe he did say that. Did Trump say the war against Iran is over? Damn. I could have swore I saw news reports that said something to that effect. But, okay, it says within the last few days, May 1st, Donald Trump has officially claimed that hostilities have terminated, but he also warning that the war is not won, yet could restart at any moment. So Trump has said so he's basically saying it's over, but it could restart. That is crazy. Now, the legal declaration, Trump sent a letter to congressional leaders stating that the hostilities that began with Operation Epic Fury on February 28th, I'm sorry, damn. Sorry, y'all, I'm just getting back. On February 28th, 2026, have officially been terminated. So, and he said it wasn't won. He said the war was not won. So that means Trump is admitting defeat? Did the man admit defeat? Like, that would be a first. But it sounds like he's admitting, but to me, it sounds like he's admitting defeat only because he wants to blame Europeans. Blame other people for saying, hey, man, why didn't you call us in advance? Now, let me ask everybody here. By the way, click the like button. If you're watching your TV, pick up the remote, click the like button for me. Yeah, and then if you're in the chat or you're watching on your mobile, click the like button for me. It helps other people come across the stream. Now, let me ask y'all this. Do you feel it was right for Israel and the United States to attack Iran and expect others to help without communicating with others in advance regarding how they felt about the attack or their views? If you feel it was wrong for Israel and the United States to attack Iran and with the expectation of others being involved without warning them in advance or asking them what they thought, if you think that was wrong, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that that was okay, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just curious about that. I personally think it was wrong. I don't see how you can just do something like that and just expect that everybody else has to just stop whatever they're doing, put everything down, because now you want us to do what you want and you're not even going to ask us what we think about it. To me, that's just insulting. And, I don't see why anyone would want to be treated that way. It's not possible to stop what you're doing when someone else just does whatever they want anytime. It's not really even possible. Why? Why is it not possible? Because democratic nations have elections, and it essentially comes down to how people feel about it. How does the population feel about it? So leaders are hesitant to just go along with any old thing that somebody does. They want a chance to be able to discuss things with their population in a way that garnishes, that gets support. And if you don't feel like you can do that, then why would you, if you don't think that you even have a chance at doing it, why would you go along with it? If you're not even given the opportunity to go to the people and discuss the matter, it's almost political assassination. It's almost like saying you don't want to be the leader of a country next year because people will vote you out in a democracy, So I'm just curious about that. Why so many people don't seem to care about how you do something, and that the United States, some of the Americans that support Trump, they believe they shouldn't have to ask, and it doesn't matter what you think. You should just do it. And that is the height of arrogance. And it's also the height of slavery, because if you think other people are just supposed to do what you think, no matter what they think, then imagine what you think about your own people. You must think even worse, right? You must think your own people should just go along with whatever you say, no matter what, just because, we don't care what you think, just do it. Okay. That's your job, to just be a servant, be a slave, pay the taxes. And we don't care what you think. You're a citizen. You're not here to think. To me, that's what it fucking sounds like. I'm sorry, but
Turning now to Operation Epic Fury, the head of U.S. Central Command is set to go to the White House later today. He'll be meeting with President Trump and the national security team. Among the issues in the briefing, the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. Brian Yanis, live in Tel Aviv with more. Hi, Brian.
Republicans think Americans are peasants. It's true. It's true, man.
Hi, Dana. Good morning. Well, Iran's Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei has released a new written statement today that was read aloud by a presenter on Iranian state TV. It calls the United States the Great Satan and vows to protect Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities. The statement also
Is Trump Satan? Is Trump Satan? I would say, yeah. I would have to say Trump. If I was to go biblical with it, I would have to say Trump is fucking Satan. Yeah. I don't really like to me that I don't know what this is about. I don't share that thing, like invoking religion up in politics, but nonetheless, since the Iranian leader did, you know what I'm saying? I could at least ponder it and be like, does that fit the description? I would say Trump and his sycophants. Trump, mainly the billionaires in the United States, they're not for the goodness, the welfare of the average American person. So they're not thinking like Jesus would think. You know what I mean? Like Jesus said, heal the sick, house the poor, feed the poor. That's not what these people are thinking. So if you mean anti-Jesus like, yeah, that's what I think it would be close to it. Yeah.
Posted on X says this about Americans, quote, those foreigners from thousands of kilometers away who are greedily carrying out transgressions in the Persian Gulf and Sea of Oman have no place here except at the bottom of its waters. Iran will put an end to the hostile enemy's exploitation of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Khamenei went on to declare that the Strait of Hormuz is under Iran's new management and rules, reiterating Iran's intent to control the strait and continue charging some ships tolls. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Fox that this would be completely unacceptable.
But look, you just heard Trump has terminated. He's terminated aggression towards Iran. It's over. So that means they actually control it now. I mean, that's what I'm getting out of this, and that means Trump lost. That means Hegseth lost. It was a failed mission, and that means Israel lost. Is that what that means? Like, where is Netanyahu chiming in on this? And what is Netanyahu? Who can Netanyahu blame for this loss? You see what I mean? Like, why would you engage in something that you weren't 100% certain you could win? Why would you do that? And who takes the blame for that? Is it the leadership of the country that takes the blame, or is it who should take the blame there? You know, or does it even matter? Should you just continue to be the leader when you do shit like this that doesn't succeed? I mean, that is if he doesn't see it as a success. If he doesn't believe he won, then you believe you lost. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this shit is just going to go on. It's going to spring up somewhere else, I believe, but let's see.
World. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps commander Ahmed Vahidi is thought to actually be the one calling the shots in Iran. The supreme leader, who is said to be seriously wounded from Operation Epic Fury, has not made one public appearance since he became the Ayatollah 2 months ago. But for now, President Trump has opted to extend the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports and continue the economic sanctions with the goal of collapsing Iran's economy, forcing them into a deal to end its nuclear weapons program.
So, okay, so he's saying he's going to continue a blockade, but it won't be aggressions. So now it's just a blockade. Iran says there's a blockade, but again, who is this helping? Because oil is not, is, you know, the value, the profit on oil is not determined on the amount you transport. The you know, if you transport lower amounts, you're driving up the price of the oil. So even less amounts you earn money on. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not really understanding where this is going. Why do we have the same policy as Iran with like blocking oil when it doesn't help the overall cost of oil? Do the American taxpayer get a rebate on the oil, on the cost of gas? Like, what's happening? I just think this is very poor policy. And I got to say, he's not doing it as good as Obama. Like, the results are not the same. I think MAGA needs to learn a little bit of something more about people on Earth if you want to use your own power successfully. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be see other countries as a threat in some kind of way. A nuclear bomb is not the only goddamn threat, you know. I mean, it doesn't have to be so simple-minded, like boom, threat. You know, no. Failed economic policy in the United States could equal a threat. You see, poor trade policy can be a threat. It can help China. It can help your adversaries, you know? So you might be fighting something. It sounds to me like Trump is fighting himself, you know, fighting not knowing how to go about things. Yeah, because to be honest, the U.S. does have a lot of power it looks like we're relinquishing a lot of power right now. Others want to trade. We're losing our trade allies. Our trade allies, our main defense allies, NATO, they're looking to trade with other people because Trump is not looking to trade with them in a friendly manner. Like, who is Trump really fighting? So even our allies are saying, hey, if we can get some Iranian oil, we'll take it. What the fuck? And they're saying, and fuck Trump. So it just seems like something here is just not right. But in any case, there is more. Let me see here. There's more about what's going on there. The damage to some ships. Apparently Iran is still damaging some bases in the U.S. So let's see. This is according to Fox News.
I did a search for ways to make extra.
Right. Fox News is declaring that Iran is still banging on the U.S.
Destruction. A CNN investigation.
Oh, CNN also. Excuse me. CNN here.
Discovering Iran has caused extensive damage to a majority of the U.S. military sites in the region. Precise Iranian missile and drone strikes, aided by sophisticated Chinese technology, hitting some of America's most crucial military assets in the Middle East. The extent of the damage unknown until now. Our Tamara Kablawi is out front.
Camp Buehring, Kuwait. American soldiers enjoying a karaoke night at one of the biggest U.S. military hubs in the Gulf. That was then. This is now. A once bustling American microcity in the desert, nearly empty and heavily damaged after a weeks-long barrage of Iranian missiles and drones. One of many U.S. military facilities in the oil-rich Arabian Peninsula, targeted by Iran even as the U.S. and Israel pummeled the Islamic Republic's large arsenal.
What?
And is now a once bustling American Camp Buehring, Kuwait. American soldiers enjoying a karaoke night at one of the biggest U.S. military hubs in the Gulf. That was then. This is now. A once bustling American microcity in the desert, nearly empty and heavily damaged after a weeks-long barrage of Iranian missiles and drones. One of many U.S. military facilities in the oil-rich Arabian Peninsula, targeted by Iran even as the U.S. and Israel pummeled the Islamic Republic's large arsenal. So what impact have Iran's strikes had on America's footprint in the Middle East? A CNN investigation found evidence of unprecedented destruction. We can reveal that strikes damaged at least 16 U.S. installations across 8 countries. According to our analysis and sourcing, that's the majority of American military positions in the region, and some of them are virtually unusable now. A U.S. source familiar with the situation told us that they'd never seen anything like this at American bases, that these were rapid, targeted strikes using advanced technology. Iran's main targets? Multi-million-dollar aircraft, like this Boeing E-3 Sentry, which gave the U.S. a huge amount of visibility over the Gulf. It's out of production, and in today's money, it's worth nearly $500 million. Critical communications equipment. Look at these giant golf balls. They're known as radomes, and they protect satellite dishes vital for data transmission. In this base alone, Iran destroyed all but one of the radomes less than a month into the war. And crucially, radar systems. Highly sophisticated, expensive, difficult to replace, and critical to air defense. A second U.S. source, this one a congressional aide familiar with damage assessments, described these as the most cost-effective of the targets. Our radar systems, they said, are our most expensive and our most limited resource in the region.
For U.S. allies in the region, there's a dilemma. In some ways, Iran's show of force makes the U.S.'s presence in the region even more necessary to Gulf security.
Right. So, it doesn't look bad. And as somebody said, who said that in the chat? Was it somebody said no American deaths being reported? Yeah. I mean, I would not trust. Listen, I'm just saying this. If you are an American, it shouldn't matter who you voted for. You should, if your brain is halfway screwed on correctly, you should be inquiring about, you should be worried that, it's a possibility that the deaths are not being reported. And I'm not saying it's a lot, but I'm just saying there's almost no rules with this administration right now. You got to understand that was the whole thing that makes Trump administration different. He wanted to be a dictator. He joked about it. His supporters supported it. That means they really support those actions. They believe that truth, right, is bad for publicity. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they want to color what truth is. You see what I mean? And, you know, and anytime you have this approach where you feel like you can just instantly change the color of things or, you know, erase people out of history and things like this, then you're equally willing to erase deaths from going public. I mean, it's the same, literally the same thing, you know, screwing around with reality and not reporting the truth. When you're threatening media, these kind of things, when you're firing soldiers for disobeying illegal orders, when you're firing generals, you know, on this unprecedented number, it's obvious it's because you don't want them doing what would otherwise be seen on any other normal day as their job, you know? So, yeah, reporting deaths is somebody's job. Whose job is that? How's it going to get done? Is that a job the president would like done? It just makes you wonder because it only makes him look more incompetent. And, you know, again, if you want to get somebody out, if you want to get anything done in a democratic nation, it doesn't look like Americans are totally ready to get that done. Because as I was saying before, even right now, Trump is looking to lessen your ability to vote, you know, to even weaken the standards that were already there. Now, loads of people made excuses about Trump. They said that we got too many illegals voting. We got too many illegals voting. Illegals shouldn't be able to vote. No data presented about it. Just wanting to believe what they heard on the internet. But so even if people believed in that, where do you stand with this?
We're back with more breaking news. We are seeing the fallout this morning from the Supreme Court's ruling on Louisiana's congressional map. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is now planning to postpone 6 congressional primaries that are currently just 2 weeks away so that state lawmakers can draw a new map.
So should elections be postponed? Where do you stand on that? You know, yeah. Is that a great thing? Postponing elections now? Does that have what does that have to do with the illegals? Any illegals suggest that? Who's the illegal that suggested elections should be postponed? Any illegals on the Supreme Court? Any illegals in local government? Who's suggesting this? Who said it?
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry.
Is Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry an illegal? Is he doing it to help the illegals vote? Or is he doing it to stop illegals from voting? What is he doing it for?
We're back with more breaking news. We are seeing the fallout this morning from the Supreme Court's ruling on Louisiana's congressional map. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is now planning to postpone 6 congressional primaries that are
6 congressional primaries. He's not even talking about anything about illegals, but that's what the fallout is suddenly.
Fallout this morning from the Supreme Court's ruling on Louisiana's congressional map. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is now planning to postpone 6 congressional primaries that are currently just 2 weeks away so that state
2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. Is that democracy? I mean, you know, again, I just don't see. I really do think that Americans are being questioned in terms of their values. Like, I think that's what's really going on. If Americans value living in a democracy, they will show it. If Americans, and the way you show it is through having more people vote than they did in the last election, because 1/3 of the voting population didn't even vote in the presidential elections. You know, Americans need to show that they believe in democracy and that they believe that they are the rulers of the country, that it is one man, one vote. You decide what your country is by voting. The moment you turn your back on that, it's over. You know, it is over for the United States of America. And I hear and see far too many Americans that don't seem to understand how vital it is to vote. At the same time, there's people that seem to think this is perfectly okay.
We're back with more breaking news. We are seeing the fallout this morning from the Supreme Court's ruling on Louisiana's congressional map. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is now planning to postpone 6 congressional primaries that are currently just 2 weeks away.
Right. Early voting has already started. How can you postpone it after the voting has started? Let me see here.
So that state lawmakers can draw a new map. This is according to 4 people with knowledge of the matter who spoke to MS Now. The governor says they are regrouping to figure out the path forward, but primaries won't be going ahead as planned in May. The High Court's decision to strike down Louisiana's congressional map, ruling the state violated the Constitution when it reworked the map to preserve black majority districts, drawing outrage from Democrats and voting rights groups.
They've tried to do everything that they can to eliminate and erase our journey, our struggle, our march.
The Supreme Court has opened the door to a coordinated attack on black voters across this country.
This is Jim Crow in new clothes.
Let's bring in MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin and
Okay, they're saying that that all the elections weren't postponed, but some of them were. And that's even more ridiculous. That's even more ridiculous. You know, yeah. Anyway, let's hear some more.
Legal analyst Melissa Murray. She teaches constitutional law at NYU. Lisa, this announcement from Louisiana postponing the primary, already we're seeing these ripple effects from the Supreme Court's decision. What kind of new legal can of worms was just open?
Well, first of all, the Supreme Court announced a new test for showing that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act has been violated. And I think I and others yesterday have said it has made it virtually impossible for a plaintiff to meet that test. And I want to just illustrate to you why. The first thing that plaintiffs have to do if they want to show that a map is violative of the Voting Rights Act is they have to provide an alternative illustrative map that meets all of the state's enunciated non-racial goals that include things like incumbency protection. And they have to draw those alternative maps without being cognizant of race. Justice Kagan in her dissent essentially says, how is anyone supposed to do that? That is an all but impossible task. And the test goes on from there. So first and foremost, the new legal can of worms is how is a plaintiff supposed to show that Section 2 has been violated? But the second question is there are up to 15 congressional districts throughout the country that NPR, according to a prior analysis, believed could be at risk if the court ruled in the way that it did. And now you are starting to see folks in other states calling for new primaries. Now, in some places, filing deadlines, primaries have long since passed, but you have lawmakers and candidates in Tennessee and in Georgia asking for new districts already.
Wow. And that, again, affecting this year's midterm elections. I want to dig a little bit more into the Supreme Court's decision. In the majority opinion, Justice Alito writes that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was designed to enforce the Constitution, not collide with it, adding that the lower courts have applied it in a way that forces states to engage in the very race-based discrimination that the Constitution forbids. But as Lisa noted in her dissent, Justice Kagan argues it renders the Voting Rights Act all but a dead letter. Melissa, what changes can people expect? Talk to those voters right now. What's going to happen?
Judge Kagan, exactly.
Forbids. But as Lisa noted in her dissent, Justice Kagan argues it renders the Voting Rights Act all but a dead letter. Melissa, what changes can people expect? Talk to those voters right now. What's going to happen? What does this mean for the power of each and every vote?
You know, it's interesting because here's the thing, and I just hope people understand this. During the presidential election, you look at the demographics, right? And we do data. The United States does data on this. They know how many Hispanics vote in which direction, know how many white Americans, non-Hispanic white Americans vote in one direction. Of course, these terms are just made up as to not to be how can I say this? Only to give you a slight view into the thinking, not all the views. So there's more ways to collect data, but in the United States, they try to do it based on demographics, the larger groups that come out to vote, right? That the electorate has. So you have Black Americans or African Americans, right? You have Hispanic Americans, you have white Americans, and you have Asian Americans, and you have some other groups, right? You do. And they can collect data also on religious groups or things like that. Christians, how did they, it's done in many different ways, not one way. It's done in many ways. They collect data on women. How many women in this way do this? So you get to cross-correlate a lot of different segments of society and then have a view of what's going on in the electorate, right? But in the U.S., I mean, from the last election, 80% of African Americans voted for Kamala Harris, voted against Trump. So you got to understand, that means 80% of African Americans suspected what you're seeing of Trump now is what you would get from Trump if he was elected. Didn't like it. A lot of the population, that's only 20% though of African Americans. Now, a lot of other groups, it was closer to 50%, 40, 50%. You see what I mean? Or 60. It could go either way. But in other words, I'm just saying this because larger portions of different groups of people in the country supported Trump. Even white Americans, largely, not exclusively, but larger than 20%. You see what I mean? Hispanic Americans, larger than 20% of them voted for Trump. All other demographics, people supported Trump more. So what are they afraid of? They're afraid that a lot of these people have changed their minds, right? This is how insidious this is. They're afraid that a lot of the people that voted for Trump have fucking changed their minds. And you would be right to have changed your mind. You would be right. It means you're believing your eyes. Okay, you're believing your pockets. You're believing what you see. Trump did change his mind about releasing the Epstein files. Pam Bondi did change her mind. Okay, Kash Patel did change his mind. Yes, Kash Patel does seem to drink a whole fucking lot. Yes, Kash Patel's his own staff said they had to almost kick down a door because they were worried about him being drunk and passed out on the job. Yes, they have said he drinks and gets drunk on the job. You have seen these things. You have seen the debt go up. You have seen your access to health care go down. You have literally seen these things. Well, 80% of African Americans said, yeah, that's why we didn't vote for Trump, because we suspected that would happen. 20% said, man, Trump ain't going to do none of that. Why you still on the Democrat plantation? The other 20% said that, and now they like, goddamn, what the fuck was I thinking? Yeah, because they're getting devastated. But then others, who may be doing a little bit better in society is like, God damn, this is affecting us too. What the fuck? So people are changing their minds. But what Trump is attempting to do is to do the same trick again. The same old trick again. Same old trick. Bait and switch. That's what this is. So he's hoping that people, that one base that only votes for discrimination, that would rather discriminate against someone else than to get health care themselves. He's going to that insane base with this kind, because none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. I mean, you want to stop African Americans from voting, and you're pretending that the reason why you have the Voting Rights Act, you're saying it's discriminating against everyone else, when what did you do to address the discrimination against African Americans? You were literally trying to kill them when they said they wanted to vote. That's why you have the Voting Rights Act. They literally were stopping people from registering to vote. Literally. You literally had people from across the country coming to southern states, making sure that people didn't discriminate against African Americans, whites, Jews, Latinos, women, all over the country, saying, stop discriminating against African Americans. That's why we have that Voting Rights Act bill. I mean, so it was there to stop people from discriminating. And today they're saying there's no need for it. They want to erase the law. But actually, when you look at it, everything the Republicans are doing is trying to stop more voters across the board. So those of you that are out there that are thinking, they're just scared of African Americans. Remember what he said about that. At first, African Americans, he was telling African Americans, it's the illegals. It's the illegals. No, it's you. It's you too. And guess what? It's everybody else. They're fucking afraid of Americans voting. And they have so much power, they're going to flood social media with anti-democratic themes, ideas. You know what the first one's going to be? Republicans and Democrats all the same. So no need to vote, y'all. They all the same. You know, then they're going to say this one that they have out there now is the Voting Rights Act discriminates against Americans. It discriminates against all Americans. Okay, yeah, sure. And then it's going to hit you too. All of a sudden, you're going to realize that nope, you're not. How many people are not even given the right to vote in the United States already? How many people? If you've been convicted of a federal crime, and this is another thing that's different from other Western countries, you convicted of a federal crime. Can you vote? Have your right to vote has it been terminated in the United States? The answer could be yes. In a lot of states, yes. So they're already for limiting people's rights to vote in the United States of America. And if you stand by and don't stand up against this kind of attacks on one group of people, it is going to come to your community too. It's going to come. Pretty soon they're going to find other ways to get other people to not vote. It's just that simple. That's how it's always been in the United States. That's how it'll always be. A lot of people that voted for Trump thought that they were stopping illegals from getting health care. They found out they can't get health care now. That's just what it is. And that's how it's going to turn out and continue to turn out. So I would just hope that at some point Americans wake up from this lunacy and just realize that, listen, it's okay to be patriotic. Listen, it's okay to be proud of your ethnicity. It is. It's just not okay to be delusional and bigoted about other people that are Americans too. That's crazy. You see what I mean? And in the United States of America, there are different ethnicities of actual real American citizens that have been there from the beginning. Different ethnicities, not one. Not one. So that's what makes American nations very different. That's why discrimination is very important. Is a very important topic, you see. And also protections from discrimination is a very important topic, you see, because you do have this dynamic. Just like women's rights, it's important to protect women's rights. You know, you can't, the United States at a time, women could not vote. So you're going to snatch away this right too? You're going to decide that, in Christian towns, in towns where Christians rule, you can just stop a woman from voting or just make it harder for her to vote. You see what I mean? Like, make it harder for, this is really where it's going. I just think it's so pathetic and so sad. You know, when I voted in the local elections here in Copenhagen, I got a letter in the mail. That letter, all I had to do was take that letter down to the voting station, which was 2 blocks from where I lived. Had a nice cozy walk before I went to work. As a matter of fact, what I did was I took the paper, waited in line. I had to wait in line like maybe a half an hour, go around the block. There's a lot of people voting. Then I came home, had dinner, and then I went to work. That's how simple it was. Didn't have any ID, right? They didn't ask me for any ID. They just asked me what my social security number was. I told them, gave them the paper that came to my mailbox. I'm the only person that has that name on that piece of paper with that address. It's only one of me. And it came to the right address. And I was the right person that knew the other things about me. And I voted. Now, the United States voting is not so simple as it is in Denmark. Just like healthcare is not so simple in the United States as it is in Denmark. Just like education is not so simple in the United States as it is in Denmark. Just like protecting the president, protecting the premises from a murderer. You know, they can't even stop a person from coming with a fucking bomb to the goddamn hotel in the United States of America to blow up the whole fucking hotel the day the president. I mean, they just can't fucking do it. They keep undermining themselves. I don't get American citizens, man. When y'all going to catch up, bro? Like, when are y'all going to catch up? It's not looking good right now. It's the incompetence is on fleek. The incompetence is on fleek. You rather talk about problems than solve problems. You're not solving nothing. You know, it is just ridiculous, man.
Crossing him and stealing the charity they founded together by turning OpenAI into a.
And here we have the richest man on earth. Most Americans will never be in the same room with this guy. You know, you're too poor. And I'm talking about all ethnicities. White Americans, you're too broke. You're not wanted. Okay? You need to go fix your teeth, your missing tooth first. Okay? If you can afford a dentist. Okay? He doesn't want nothing to do with you. He has 3 passports. You don't even have 1. He's got 3 citizenships. You don't even fucking vote. I mean, you know, you guys like Elon Musk tinkering around with your brain all day. But here he is in court fighting for his rights. Citizen of 3 countries. He's got more rights than you, more money than all of you put together. You're not worth a piece of shit of Elon Musk. Elon Musk's doo-doo is worth more than you. And you're too stupid to want better.
A for-profit company after he left. But OpenAI says Musk did know about the company's future plans and only sued after failing to become CEO. Now Musk is clashing with the company's lawyers on the witness stand, accusing them of asking misleading questions. ABC News contributor, Google tech policy fellow Mike Muse is here for more.
Yeah, billionaires fighting each other. But guess what? They all better than you. They all better than everybody. You know, if you're an American, they all got more rights than you, man. You ain't gonna do nothing to Bill Gates, and you ain't gonna do nothing to Elon Musk because you don't have the fucking brains to. Okay, you literally, American citizens believe in elitism, even when they are not part of it.
Mike, you say this is framed as a legal story, but really it's a tech business story. Why?
It is, because you look at the origins of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has been around since the 1980s up into the early 2000s, and it's been seen more on the back end from businesses and also from researchers. So you will see it in institutions like MIT, really trying to discover what is deep learning, what is machine learning. You saw it again in the back end of companies like Google using it for machine learning dynamics. It wasn't until you got to like the 2010s where you began to see a shift.
Exactly, Eric. Meta paid negative 12% in taxes, got an $8 billion refund. You know, and American citizens, they're going to just keep on going for it. They're going to keep on going for it, man. They just don't. And like I said, they don't use their guns to fight for their democracy. They don't. They're hypocrites. They have the gun rights and they use them in the most weirdest fucking ways. You know, and it is not to protect their First Amendment right. It is not to protect their voting right. It is not to protect any fucking rights. It's just to have them and to be isolated in their little corner and be disenfranchised. Me, I have my gun and I'm broke and my mama's going to lose her house, but at least I got my gun and Donald Trump is the president and Elon Musk. Hell, Elon Musk, the richest man on earth. I can't afford to get my tooth fixed. Hell, Elon Musk.
And you began to see a shift in these companies beginning to what's called doing deep learning and deep knowledge that allows it to become in the consumer-friendly product that we know today as generative AI.
Do me a favor, click the like button. If you're listening on your TV, click the like button for me. If you're watching from your phone, click the like button for me. It helps more people come into the stream. I appreciate it.
But
and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. I'm V Media, born and raised in Washington, D.C. Both sides of my family go back to the colonial period. But as a grown-ass man, I live in Europe in a country called Denmark. The town is called Copenhagen. So big up to everybody in Denmark also watching and across the EU and across the Americas and across the world. Appreciate everybody.
And when you begin to make that shift from academia to back-end use to front-end consumer use, you need more compute. And when you need more compute, that takes more investment, that takes more capital, i.e. more money. And also, too, as this began to grow the sector business-wise, companies began to poach other talented engineers in order to grow and scale their companies. And so then you see OpenAI come in as a nonprofit research arm, kind of coming on academia. But once they saw the shift and pivot, they knew they needed more money to invest in microprocessor chips and data centers. They needed more investments. In order to make the investment worthwhile for donors, they needed to convert over to a for-profit. And so that is how we got here. And that is the evolution of artificial intelligence. And I think that's an important part of this story as our viewers are watching this trial.
As a tech guy, what do you think when you listen to Musk's testimony? Anything surprise you so far about how this trial is playing out?
Yeah, some of the things that surprised me how it's playing out is how Musk even recognized that the need for OpenAI to possibly go for profit. He was aware of it. As you mentioned in your opening statement, that the tension began when Musk didn't become CEO. But then also, too, were evidence that was admitted into this trial where Musk was even considering...
So, in other words, this guy wants to own you. And he is very, very close. I mean, Elon Musk is so embedded in the United States of America, just because the United States has very few laws really on corruption, anti-corruption laws, and also because its political thing, is so open to bribery. People running for office require money, so much money, loads of money just to run for office in a democratic nation. So these CEOs like Elon Musk, they're owning people. They're behind different PACs. You see what I mean? They can hide money. Then they even have dark money, and you got to understand, there is no rational reason why any person would need anyone to be as rich as Elon Musk. If you have people like this, it means you are going to be poor. The only way one person can have this much money to themselves is if so many amount of people have nothing. You got to understand that. And when this person is in the United States of America, that means you Americans. That means you are the primary target. Because listen, if he cannot control the military, he has lost everything. You got to understand that. If this guy, and he's going for embedding himself and his business in the military, but if he's not allowed to, he's finished. Why is it? Peter Thiel too. Why is it? Because the best hit that they ever had in their entire life is the dumbass American people. Because nobody else that has any concept of patriotism, national pride would allow these motherfuckers to have so much fucking power in their country just because of money. No one would. But you did. And everybody else that believes in sovereignty is sitting back watching these people suck the American people dry. And when the American people wake up, if they ever do, if they're lucky enough to, which they might not be, there's no guarantee of that at all, everything goes downhill for Elon Musk. Why? Because he's already hit up the big fish. There's only small fishes left. See, he already hit up the big one. He already got his hands on the biggest booty that there is. Everything else is smaller booties from downhill. It's downhill from there on. Same amount of work, just less profit. So, he knows he's not trying to leave. He's trying to make his mark. He's trying to make his presence permanent and omnipotent. He is trying to make he is trying to own the United States of America. And for some reason, Americans just cannot put the pieces together enough to vote their asses out of this. And it's really sad, but that's the reason why they hit the United States up, because they realize Americans don't believe in voting rights. Americans don't believe in voting. Americans don't believe in shit like universal health care that everybody else in every other Western country does, because people understand how rights work and taxes. Don't believe in universal education. Americans open the door up for this kind of leech themselves. They open the door up themselves with their own thinking. Nobody else has this thinking. This is uniquely American style thinking. This is not Western thinking. This is American United States of America thinking. This is not American thinking even. This is the United States of America thinking. It's totally different from Canadian brains, Mexican brains, Brazilian brains, Colombian brains, UK brains, Danish brains, German brains, Netherlands brains, Spanish brains. It's totally different from Norwegian brains. It's different from Swedish brains. It's different from Australian brains. It's different from everybody else's brains. You know what I'm saying, Rafiq? Yeah, Faith said happy Mother's Day for everybody. Yeah, I appreciate you, Faith. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that too. I mean, nobody else has this problem but the United States, man. And it's just, it is just really, really sad. It's really, really sad. But now you got the rich folks going after each other for a second. If that makes you happy at all, Elon Musk, he wants even more. He doesn't like the fact that another billionaire has something.
Moving OpenAI into Tesla. So there was a recognition.
You see that?
Aware of it. As you mentioned in your opening statement, that the tension began when Musk didn't become CEO. But then also, too, were evidence that was admitted into this trial where Musk was even considering maybe moving OpenAI into Tesla.
He's trying to eliminate everything else. This guy wants to control the fucking military. I'm telling you that I'm just saying my opinion. I don't know. And I'm not saying Elon Musk goes around telling people this, but I suspect he is a fucking maniac. And this guy wants to control the United States of America like no less. And why? Because if your laws allow it, then why not? And your laws do allow it. The laws allow it. Yeah. The laws allow it. It's crazy, but
So there was a recognition that you needed more investments and that you needed more money in order to grow the business. And I think for me, that was going to be a very poignant part of the case.
As part of this lawsuit, he wants OpenAI to go back to being a nonprofit. He wants billions of dollars to go into that nonprofit arm, and he wants
phony. Exactly, phony. You see what I'm saying? Phony. Right. So they can't be nonprofit. They can't be profit anymore. That's stepping into his world. Right. Yeah. But everything in the United States revolves around profit. Everything. Right. They don't believe in universal education. They don't believe in universal education. What the fuck is he talking about? He doesn't even believe in universal education, universal health care. He's not saying people should have universal education, universal health care. He could actually make sure everybody has universal health care, universal education in the United States of America. But he's not going for that because he believes it's okay for a segment of the population to be poor. How many? A little more than what is already poor.
leadership changes at the top. What will that mean if it happens to the AI landscape in general?
It makes the competitive landscape much more appealing for the competitors of OpenAI. And we're talking about Anthropic, who has its Claude service. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Google that has Gemini. And then we are talking about Elon Musk.
Elon's own AI company,
yes,
right?
Elon Musk has OpenAI. He has XAI, mm-hmm. Which is a similar competitor to that. And so that really is the question is he doing this to eliminate the threat of OpenAI in order for his company to come into place?
Absolutely. And listen, when he does this, he's just going to go after others too. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but at some point, American citizens got to catch up on what is going on. OpenAI is considered a threat by most. I mean, not OpenAI, the company, but AI is considered basically one of the biggest threats, period, across the globe. You got to understand that. Elon Musk is a person who threw a whole lot of money. He's not the only one, but he threw a whole lot of money behind it. And he is basically embedded in the U.S. military. So what does that mean? Not only is he making robots, but he's also dealing with the brains part of it, partially. Peter Thiel is dealing with the brains, mostly, but some other stuff too, right? But here's the thing. The question is always, who is the person, just like RoboCop, who is the person behind the robot? Who is the person behind the computer? So while they're giving all these tasks to the computers, to the robots, who is the person that's going to be behind that, behind the veil, behind the curtain, able to tap into that machine and get any information they want about people that go against them? It's a security threat. It's serious. And Americans can vote this shit out. But if Americans don't believe in voting, if they do not stand up and get their neighbors to register to vote, if they don't hit the polls in every state across the country and shoot this shit down, you are headed into slavery territory for the average American, regardless of your color, ethnicity, or anything, period. That means also you white Americans, you are headed into slavery. You must understand that. At least that's what it looks like to me. That's why I'm saying it. I could be wrong. I'm not saying Elon Musk is going around saying he want to make you a slave. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it looks like that to me. You know what I'm saying? It looks like that to me. Why? Because I'm an American, born and raised in Washington, D.C. Family goes back to the colonial period on both sides. But as a grown-ass man, I live outside of the U.S., so I know what it's like to live in another Western countries and how people are viewing these things, how governments are adjusting to these things, and the values and the ethics of other ethnicities of people outside of the U.S. that are a major player in what is called Western civilization. And I'm just here to tell you, Americans, you are not on par with what is called Western civilization. The rest of Western civilization values is universal health care for their citizens, universal education for their citizens. That means unabated access for their citizens. They stand behind their citizens. And you taxpayers must do the same or be damned with you. That's how other countries are doing it. Straight up. The United States ain't doing it like that. Taxpayers are not supporting every American citizen's right to access to health care or education. That's not what's happening right now. But what's happening is people like Elon Musk are getting tax breaks and they're getting your tax dollars. You're literally going to fucking work for Elon Musk. That's who you're working for right now. So on that note, you're not even working for Congress, the Senate. You elected these people. You're not working for the Supreme Court even. Supreme Court, man, fuck that. You got Elon Musk. He's Elon Musk, man. You got your massa right here, all wrapped up, and a couple of the other ones too. And they don't give a motherfuck about you. So on that note, I'm out. I appreciate everybody. I'll be back in 18 hours from now. Regularly broadcast time. I'm so happy to be back with everybody from my vacation. I appreciate you all so much for hanging around, and we will continue with the news. Catch up to y'all. Click the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. This is one of my new tracks. You can see it on YouTube, Spotify. It's called We Got What You Need. Peace, y'all. Bless up to the mods. See ya.
We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want.
Now break down.
Orientation in this place we call Earth. Love from conception from your mom, your birth. Pops planted the seed in the turf. From there, you must find out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts. Before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation to what your life. The brand new thing, so gentle the soul we're capturing. In this distance, the alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, You learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it, let it, let it. If you let it, don't let it, let it. If you let it, don't let it. If you let it, don't let it, let it. Don't let it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We embark on this journey through your soul. We wanna have a good time. That you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I, on a mission to salvation. Our spirit be our transportation. We think you'll do a little love and that is true. For real, we bring something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I. Bring it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know. From our harshest past and better than our society's identity. But then again, can you tell me that's free? They explain to you what your mind should perceive, suggest things they want you to believe, like your skin color dictates your race. They're calling you an idiot to your face, like life is much more simple than that. We're all slaves and the cards are stacked. While we fight over problems we can fix, industrialists turn our kids to addicts. The television does a job, introduce you. The radio's right there to seduce you, keep you locked on the wrong damn track. Cigarettes is just legalized crack. They want you to catch a damn heart attack. They want you to catch a damn heart attack. What? Stop believing in the flag, it's a trap. Cause men rule this world, that's a fact. They don't know, they don't know. But I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie. But I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know, they don't know. Then I'm gonna hit them with the shit. They don't lie, they don't lie. Then you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. Then you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. Then you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. If you see a man that needs help, then help a brother. If you see a sister on her own, still love her. Cause life is about how you choose to see it. But you gotta teach people how to learn to see it. The planet's been through suffering many times. We propagate many wars many times. The people need to wake up and stop accepting deceit from their own government's deception. You can't blame the people for needing protection from the government's bad reputation. We need to sing a song called Free the Nation. Cause we done had a whole lot of separation. Racism, classism, nationalism, based on keeping people out on the plantation. That's the plan, no doubt. Cause rich people got a plan, no doubt. If you still don't understand and believe that we are all one from the same mother and respect each woman and man with the same consideration you would like to be given on a daily, then you need to retire so the new generation can take over and show you how to live and govern this place we call Earth home. Everybody here, yeah. Check it out. They don't know, kid. They don't know. But I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie. But I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know. That I'm gonna hit them with this shit. They don't lie. Want more. Crime babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day and every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct. And I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink. But I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and I feel we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear. But they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear. And they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an app, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguise is religion. controlling your mind, the mental prison.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, then you know they want more. But they want to keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, then you know they want more. But they want to keep you low, so they manifest the war.
I traveled the globe just to gain perspective, the theory of relativity applied. Of course, it took a while to decide how I should proceed, but even my life is truly based upon need. So I move forward with more deliberate speed, smash corny motherfuckers that stuck on greed. My seed is worth more than $1 million in future stock. The goal is to break the safe, the padlock. Mad cats can't stop it, need a rocket. Your style is boring and cold, mine is tropic. Battles you want, commit, you'll change the topic. My partner should get to put your beat in the pocket. So this nigga here can proceed to destroy your stereotypical pop rap gangsta ploy. Not hating on niggas from the ghetto, but I'm hating on copycat rappers from the meadow. They procreate bullshit without paying a price. That's like talking about CeeLo with no dice. I drink milk, but that's about it. I won't compare dairy MCs to dope shit.
I want you full undivided in this here place. We think to entertain and to educate your bum ass niggas and your non-believers. You know we change your membrane every time you see us. The odds can't stand the way we think with ease. The way we get love from the finest ladies. Oh my son, oh here comes another one. I'm about to take it to the place that lies under the sun.
Style witty, come from Chocolate City. Today I'm on the march with I invited 1 million from the Million Man March to stomp on fake gangster rappers so they don't need starch. For the funeral suits, we shine boots and make the radio station only play the roots. And make the television station play Alex Haley Roots and remind these motherfuckers of what? Their roots. Oops, you can't say that, bitch, it's a slap. The new world order's even under attack. You can't fight the power eating a Big Mac. Let me explain, the hamburger minerals lack style, originality, finesse, tactic, energy, maintain creatively. That's you mathematically, your presence is solved. Why? Because to tell you the truth, kid, you're lost. Now who's boss? I'll tell you, I know that brother rap clinic, of course.
Full undivided in this here place. We came to entertain and to educate your bum ass niggas and your non-believers.